Time to talk about this week in wrestling, cause it was terrible and it was great. This is Tables, Ladders, and Podcast at TLP. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tables, Ladders, and Podcast, the only podcast coming to you live from the San Francisco Bay Area for WrestleMania. I am your host, as always, Point, and joining me on the panel to discuss the week in WWE, we have Nowhere Man.
Drink me in.
Java.
Hello.
And our former deposed host, Narcissus.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, like, you can claim superiority right now, but it's fine. I will reclaim my throne at once. I don't know if I will.
You're too lazy.
Spoilers. No. Probably not.
Can we just explain one thing to the audience? The social media beanbag, which, you know, Point loves so much, and he's regularly seated on it whenever we get over to the social media lounge, it was deemed not quite up to scratch for a live broadcast, so it's been replaced with this social media throne here.
He's constantly unfulfilled with the beanbag, which, you know.
Right. So how about that week in wrestling?
How about it? Yeah, real quick though, like you might have saw the WrestleMania special last year and saw that we had a sweet reptilian friend of ours to give us drinks all the time. Well, the drink-a-dial is running a little bit late, so we're gonna have to get our own drinks this time. It's hard. It's a hard thing to do, but we're gonna power through it.
We're gonna pay our dues.
Yeah, we're gonna do what we can. We're gonna Bob Holly pay our dues.
All right. Now, in the meanwhile, before we get into the meat of WrestleMania, shall we talk about some NXT?
Well, first, I believe we have some news.
We do have some news.
Lots of news this week.
The news advertisers first before we dig our teeth into the succulent meat of WrestleMania.
True.
Yes. Let's see. There few bits of news. Bit of tragic news, of course. You may have heard over the last week, Lucha Libre wrestler Perro Gallo Jr. was killed in an unfortunate accident involving Rey Mysterio. There was a 619 spot. He fell on the ropes and suffered a spinal stroke. Unfortunately, it's being reported that Mysterio has actually been receiving death threats by fans who blame him for the accident.
This is so bad. And like, what happened? How did you find out about this? Because when I found out, the Facebook link that I was going through, it was just on my feed, and it was like, Rey Mysterio kills a guy. It was like,
yeah,
what the fuck?
that was the thread I saw too.
That's how it was being reported.
Everybody immediately blamed Mysterio, and it turns out he wasn't responsible.
You watched the video, and he literally had nothing to do with it, like at all. I don't know if maybe like there was a botched dropkick earlier, but I didn't see it if it happened. I think it was just one of those freak things where he just got hit the wrong way. It was the wrong time. It was a freak thing, and he just passed out. And he didn't wake up.
If anyone is, I would say, responsible, I would say it might have been Conan for trying to shake him, but he didn't know. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I think what this illustrates is that the kind of Ryan Clark brand of journalism, those headlines, usually it's pretty harmless, and all it's going to do is get him a few extra clicks. But in situations like this, you can actually affect people's lives with that kind of reckless headline.
This is going to permanently affect Mysterio's
career.
Yeah, his career, his reputation. I can't think of any other incidents in which Mysterio has injured a guy, especially not to this, the point where people's lives are in danger.
I'm really surprised. Like, I'm honestly kind of surprised. This would be douchey if they did that, but I could see WWE getting in on this and be like, yeah, that's why we have trainers. That's why we have physicians.
So far they've played it classy and just ran like a little memorial to Perro Gallo, but
they mentioned it? I didn't even see it.
I think it was just on the website.
Oh, okay.
But still, it is, our thoughts and best wishes go to everybody involved in it. It's a horrible thing, obviously.
And it's kind of shitty. I mean, like, don't you think it's at least a little bit shitty that like something happens like that and then the video is just widely available like immediately? Yeah. Like, it is kind of weird. Like, you saw somebody die and it's like, you don't even really register it.
That was not a fun video to watch.
No.
Like, I couldn't make it to the end of it. Like, I've never seen Owen Hart die. I never want to watch that. No. I did watch when Masala died though, and that was messed up. It's really disturbing.
It makes you think, if you're going to be plunged into a death-like situation like this, would you want it to be in front of thousands of people so they could immediately react to it? Or in this case, it probably hindered his recovery because people just thought he was still selling and being part of the match.
Yeah.
So he was still like hanging on the ropes. They just didn't realize.
Yeah,
that
I think that's why Conan was shaking. He just thought he was like knocked out or something.
Well, and then after Mysterio like tried that 619, like he knew something was up because he was supposed to get hit by that and he didn't sell it. And then he looked over to him like, dude, why didn't you sell my move? And he went over there and just no response.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it was. Boy, did you see the video?
No, I didn't want to watch it.
Yeah, no, it's bad.
It's not the best thing. I kind of wish that I didn't, but at least the good thing to come out of it is the video's on there, so it's not like everyone could be like, Rey Mysterio murdered a man in cold blood. Like there's video.
It's better than like how everybody blames like Great Khali for killing the guy.
Yeah.
Although that one you can say that Khali had more to do with it because he was doing the move, and the guy took it wrong, is what happened. But
yeah, I think with a powerbomb though, there's still only so many ways you can really deliver the move. You know?
Yeah, especially when you're that tall, and so the leverage is all screwy. Moving on, some good news and some bad news. For those of us who are not fans of Jerry Lawler, he has been replaced as the host of this year's Hall of Fame ceremony.
But
the bad news, his alleged replacement is Eva Marie.
Okay, this is my first time hearing this. Wait, what?
Yeah. They decided Jerry the King Lawler was not good enough to host the Hall of Fame show. But the most useless person on the roster is.
This almost seems like a jab to people that were complaining about Lawler.
Yeah, no, this is them giving divas a chance.
They're like, hey, you always want us to give divas a chance. You said you didn't like
So
Lawler, so we got a replacement.
Why not someone who's like an actual good host like Renee Young?
Or The Miz, or
that would make too much sense.
I mean, I
don't know.
If you're going to use Eva Marie for anything at the Hall of Fame, it should be just link arms with an old man, walk him out onto the stage, and then leave.
Yeah.
In other words, her job last year in the Hall of Fame.
Has she ever shown that she can talk?
No. She can barely link arms with an old guy and bring them out on the stage.
I mean, that's going to say link arms before other divas for a big
I can seriously see it now. She was like, this industry has lots of history. There's been people doing this for lots of time. Let's look into it.
Here's Mike Foley.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Lord.
The only slight soft spot I have for Eva Marie is that she and Renee Young, in fact, were both born on exactly the same day that I was.
Ooh. I can see her being like, it would be like, he was a legend in WWE and WCW.
The same year even?
Yep.
You're like,
you know, it's people like that who make you realize how little you've accomplished.
People like Eva Marie.
couldn't you see her pulling like a Mike Adamle and just be like, oh, he was a legend in WCW and WWE. Kevin Hash.
She could be the next
Rodney Savage?
Who's that one Japanese wrestler being inducted this year?
Oh God, I can't off the top of my head.
The only Japanese wrestler I know is Antonio Inoki. I'm sorry.
Every time Eva Marie
He was the guy who
mispronounces
invented the
name,
Dragon
take a
Suit.
drink.
And no, we want to make it to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Okay, every time Eva Marie correctly pronounces a name, take a drink.
So we'll be like dead sober.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Next bit of news. Lucha Underground is reportedly planning a WrestleMania-style supercard of their own, tentatively scheduled for August with the working title Lucha or Ultimo Lucha. So I mean, I've been watching Lucha Underground for a little bit. I love it. I think it's really, really good.
From what I've seen, it's legit. It's definitely legit.
I mean, they got a lot of former WWE guys. They've got Johnny Mundo's John Morrison.
Mm-hmm.
They have Del Rio now.
But they're using guys like they should be using those guys.
And the new guys they have are amazing.
Yeah, well,
Pentagon Jr., Phoenix is fucking incredible.
Well, like the whole premise of that is that you're supposed to have these names so you can get people in to see the new people that you're cultivating. And it's just like WWE totally lost focus on that at one point.
Yeah, well, yeah, you get to the point where now you have Hulk Hogan and Snoop Dogg beating up new guys because yesterday is always better than today.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. On the subject of WWE alternative shows coming up in August, Global Force Wrestling is reportedly signing talent for a major event of their own, scheduled for August 22nd in Las Vegas. GFW, that's Jeff Jarrett's promotion, the one where they're linking up with like Ring of Honor and New Japan and AAA and all these other promotions. It's got the potential to be a really big deal, or it could be a total mess.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that kind of goes for every booked event that isn't a WWE event. You know, like, because they have it down. Like, one thing you can't say about WWE is, like, they have all their scheduling and all their shit down. Like, they have it down. Like, they've been doing it for so long. And so when they book events like that, you know that they're going to be, like, substantial. But anytime another company books, like, some major crazy event, I'm always a little bit skeptical. Like, you know, like, all those, like, wrestling legend shows and, like, the Cow Palace or something where nobody ends up getting paid or something.
There's just certain problems that you can't foresee until you actually go through it a few times when booking shows.
True.
Logistically, there's just so many different elements to putting on a wrestling show, and the small companies run afoul of them quite often, and then people laugh at them, but you think they haven't been doing this very long.
To be fair, though, I mean, Jeff Jarrett, he's got decades in the business. He knows how to put together a show.
He certainly should.
Hopefully it's not a show where he books himself as champion.
You probably would, too.
I wouldn't put it past him. That's one. On the one hand, I'm really rooting for GFW. I really want it to be a big hit. But on the other hand, it's Jeff Jarrett. Let's see.
I mean, like, I think he just wanted to be. I think he's a lot like Triple H in in a lot of ways. Like, he wants to be like the top fucking name that people think about when they think of wrestling.
But he's just not.
Well, I mean, like, they're good. They're really good supplemental characters, and that's okay. Like, and I don't know why. Like, but I mean, I know why. But you know.
Well, yeah. No, I get you. Let's see. The other big news story, apart from the tragedy, was that Brock Lesnar has officially announced his retirement from MMA and has re-signed with WWE.
So now,
for a multi-year contract. It was like 3 years.
So, a piece of news hasn't completely flipped a huge show like this in a long time.
Okay, here's a surprising bit. Everyone figured, okay, if Vince is going to get Brock back, he's going to have to shell out even more money. But apparently Brock actually took a pretty substantial pay cut. His current contract is for $5 million a year, which the one that just is expiring. And his new one is only for $3 million.
Well, it's possible that when they were negotiating the original deal, they had an agreement in place where if you sign an extension, it's for this amount of money.
Possibly.
So it was more like the total package. And you get a lot up front just in case you don't want to carry on after that. You still got a big chunk.
It also could be a thing where, like, I mean, like, I don't think UFC could have possibly. I don't know if they could have competed with $500 or $500. $5 million a year. Like,
I don't think they don't pay that kind of money.
No, they don't.
No.
So WWE may have known that. You were like, we're paying you $5 million right now. Like, you're not going to get that with UFC. Like, you might get $3 million. In fact, we'll pay you $3 million.
Basically, Brock Lesnar was doing MMA because he wanted to test himself. He wanted to push himself to the limit and see what he could actually achieve. It wasn't financially driven, from what I can tell.
Well, and let's be honest, $3 million to not be doing house shows constantly and to only show up when you're in a good light or when you're in, like, the main event or when you're doing something substantial, that's a lot of fucking money for the amount of work that you're doing.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It's still crazy money.
How much does he get paid per second of standing still while Paul Heyman talks?
Yeah.
Quite substantial.
He just looks menacing while Paul Heyman talks, and then he has a match like 5 times a year. I mean, like, that's a pretty good gig.
Yeah, I'll admit, it's nice work if you can get it.
Bad news for UFC, I think, because they're lacking a little bit of star power these days.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they got Punk.
Well, especially heavyweights. But like for it to go like this though, this completely turns WrestleMania on its ear though, because I think we all just kind of assumed that Roman Reigns was going to win. And Brock Lesnar was going to sign with the UFC, but now that he's not, he could possibly retain.
Yeah, there's a lot of speculation. We can talk about that once we start breaking down the card for Mania. Last bit of news on the subject of people leaving UFC for WWE. Variety has reported that WWE is partnering with the Authentic Brands Group to relaunch the Tap Out clothing line that's pretty much always been associated with UFC. And they're going to do like a WWE-centered brand of it now.
So has it not? Because I used to see those shirts everywhere, obviously, like that and like Affliction and stuff.
I think Affliction is the big one now, but Tap Out was always the big UFC gear.
So have they not been like selling in the past like 5 years?
I don't know. But apparently WWE is getting their own version of it.
It could be a good way to sneak some WWE branding into the accepted mainstream.
Mm-hmm. I think, okay, between this and kind of the rumors regarding the title situations post-WrestleMania, this could be kind of taken as a sign that WWE is kind of shifting its atmosphere away from, like, the cartoony, kid-friendly stuff and maybe more towards, like, back to when they were trying to blur the lines between it being sports and a show. Or they could just be capitalizing on a well-known name brand. So.
How many times have we hoped for WWE that, like, something that happened was a signal that WWE was shifting away from the kid-friendly?
True, but I guess about once a week you call it the news section.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
We're always like,
what do you think
they're going to do it this time. Cena's going to kill a kid in front of the entire...
You never go full Darth Vader.
Well, all right. How many more years do you think Vince McMahon really has left before he has no choice but to give the reins over to Triple H?
To be honest,
too many.
He's showing glimpses every once in a while of truly being like senile. Like, like not all the time, obviously. He's a tremendous businessman. And I don't want to, you know, like shit on him really, but like
he's still a tremendous businessman though, because he could have made a lot more money than he has done in the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so
lost
different.
A lot of money in the last year or so.
It's just so different now, though, because like when you had constant competition all the time, you had to be on your fucking A game all the time, or you were gonna get swallowed. And it's a constant theme ever since they bought WCW. They don't have competition, so they can do whatever the fuck they want, and like there's very little consequences because there aren't many other choices.
Yeah.
So I mean,
well, I think yeah, that's the thing. They are trying to. I know they've said, "Oh, UFC's not a competition for us," but having Brock Lesnar as your champion, bringing back Tap Out,
yeah.
I mean, especially with UFC signing CM Punk, even if they don't want to compete with UFC, they're getting to a point where they don't really have the option to, and I think that's kind of what they're going towards. I think we're seeing Vince McMahon's direction starting to fade away, and we're starting to see more along the lines of like Triple H's direction.
Yeah,
maybe. I mean, take that as a huge maybe.
As soon as they're competing for a common resource, then they are competition.
Yeah.
What do you want to bet that Brock Lesnar like has Tap Out on his shorts now?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Instead of like the Jacqueline, or just both of them. But
and Jimmy Jones.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the news.
All right. Then shall we get into some?
Wow. Just going.
He always does that. We just don't see him do it normally.
It's true.
Wow. They're right at Darkseid's face.
All right.
The
then.
almighty Darkseid is not affected by paper.
So then, shall we get into some NXT talking points?
We shall.
All right.
This is the side salad.
The side salad.
The Mania steak that's being cooked as we speak. Well done, because that's how I like it.
That is
So
horrible.
burnt
You're
and
a
ruined?
horrible person.
Yeah, we know.
All right. So, Job, I believe this is one of your talking points. That Kalisto needs to be a solo act.
Well, it's not technically one of my talking points, but I did agree with it because Sin Cara, it's run its course. The current guy playing the character isn't really fast enough to keep up with Kalisto,
Sure.
and I think the audience has picked up on that, and they're not thrilled. It's when Kalisto comes into the ring that the audience really picks up because he has the pace going for him.
Yeah, Kalisto's got what it takes. I think Hunico has what it takes. The problem is that Hunico does not fit the Sin Cara character that they want. So they have him doing these moves that they want Sin Cara to do that he can't really do.
Or he can do them, he just can't do them as quickly or as well chained together as an on-form real Sin Cara could have
Yeah,
done.
he goes by like Mystiziz now or something like that.
He was
like
Mystico.
Mystiziz.
Yeah.
Mr. Mixisburg.
Yes. If you say his name backwards, he goes back to the fifth dimension.
Let's be honest here. Like, Mystico is an incredible talent. I just don't think he could work the WWE style
No.
He was used to the soft, like Mexico style, where it's all about acrobatics and stuff. And then he came in, and guys couldn't work with him. So I mean, like he's still like an incredible talent, but he did have glimpses of fucking brilliance.
Oh yeah,
it's like, but he just couldn't put it all together. And let me ask you guys a question: has the whole replace a person that is already established and act like you're him? Has that ever worked ever once?
I think this was the best instance of it working.
Yeah, I think you're
it
right.
worked for a little
I
while.
think maybe Doink.
Oh yeah,
That's true. Yeah, Doink. There was Matt Bourne, and then there was the other guy.
yeah.
Well, the fact that you don't remember the other guy's name, it's not a ringing endorsement.
Well, okay, Doink. All right, Matt Bourne was heel Doink, and then the second Doink was face Doink, who had like Dink and Pink and whatever.
Yeah.
Good old Dink.
And then I don't think we even need to bring up fake Diesel and fake Razor, because Jesus Christ.
That was well thought out.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, Sin Cara is a character you could do that with, because the original Sin Cara didn't speak any English and was masked.
But
and so he, like, just went away.
But isn't Hunico like 8 inches taller
yeah,
than him?
that was the thing. That was the thing. Sin Cara was all about his body language. It was all about he was incredibly graceful in the ring.
And he pointed a lot.
Yes. Well, that's like he did really cool.
He knows how to do a WrestleMania build.
Okay, he knew really cool lucha moves and could do them very gracefully when he didn't botch them. Ha ha ha. Hunico can do these moves, but he doesn't do them with the same grace. He doesn't do them with the same speed. He does it more reliably, but he's not as fun to watch.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Think
like
they should split the Lucha Dragons up, have Kalisto go on as a solo act, because I think he can really do it. Because he's got what they wanted with Sin Cara, and retire the Sin Cara character. Just let him go, and let Hunico be his own guy again.
He's more consistent in the little stuff, but his high spots aren't nearly as good.
When Hunico can't talk, he seems to rely on that kind of silent indie wrestler trying to G the crowd up, doing all this like fist stuff, and it doesn't work for me.
Yeah,
I don't buy into that.
Plus, I hate the Lucha Dragons music. Well, that's the thing. Mostly because the Lucha chant is not on the beat of the music, and it drives me insane.
The crowd much preferred "Yeah." Anyway, so
okay,
Yeah, that did not get them over on the main roster.
real quick.
Not in the
To
slightest.
keep tradition with last year, since we're talking about NXT, I think it's about time for a Tyler Breeze pose.
A little
Into the
selfie.
camera. Okay, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. That had to have been better than last year, man.
Speaking of Tyler Breeze, they're setting up a 2 out of 3 falls match with him and Hideo Itami.
Yes.
Are you as excited about that as I am?
Whoa!
Yes, that is going to be on next week's NXT.
Oh my God!
That
That's
is
like
a rule.
That's like the new version of Regal and Chris Benoit on Velocity. Do you remember that whole?
Oh yeah.
Like things that only like not like a ton of fans will know about, but if you watch it, you got a bonus.
Mhm.
Huh?
Come in the video.
Yeah.
now here's the point. If you hear about a 2 out of 3 falls match between 2 guys on the main roster, let's even throw someone good in there. Let's say it's Daniel Bryan versus
Ziggler.
Kane. Well, I was only going to have one of the guys being good.
Okay.
Okay, yeah,
Even
yeah.
Daniel Bryan versus Dolph Ziggler, 2 out of 3 falls match on Raw or SmackDown.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
It sounds like it could be amazing, but you wouldn't think that they would actually use the fact that it's 2 out of 3 falls to its full potential, would you? You'd think it would just be a normal match, just where someone suddenly gets a roll up in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? But on NXT, they don't actually do that. It's like they're wrestling a real 2 out of 3 falls match, where the psychology of it changes depending on when the pinfalls were.
Yeah.
achieved.
Like, okay, the 2 out of 3 fall match between Zayn and Cesaro.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Incredible. Right before, and during Zayn's like Road to Redemption, he had a 2 out of 3 match with Leo Kruger before he became Adam Rose, and he just like decimated him in 2 moves. But yeah, I mean, there's a definite psychology to it. Tommy and Breeze both have 1 win apiece. This damn well better be when Tommy reclaims the GTS.
That would be nice.
Whoa,
He's been so long.
Yeah, he's been teasing it for so long. If they don't do it now, they might as well just not do it.
Well, I don't think they wanted to do it so close to CM Punk leaving, like because it would be like, hey, fuck you, we have a new guy.
You can see why they didn't want to do it while it wasn't.
Well, he was
clear
doing it all along.
Yeah, I would say he was the guy who invented the move.
Oh, there's no chance of Punk coming back. There's no reason for him.
Yeah.
Now, on the subject of Tyler Breeze, what do you guys think of basically every match he's in? Just him being beaten down for pretty much the entire match, and then beauty shot out of nowhere for the win.
I'd say they're setting him up for a main event.
I was going to say, is it any different than what Cena does every match?
That's every WWE match. Lose, 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 win.
If you can be compelling while being beaten up, which Roman Reigns can't, by the way, and then you can hit your finisher and get people to buy it, then that's a very good sign.
See, but this is unique, though. It's usually the other way around. It's usually the face that does that gets beaten down the entire time, that does a couple of moves. He's not a good guy. He's a dick. He's a jerk.
He is very popular with the crowd.
I love how much of a dick he is to Devin Taylor.
For no reason.
Yeah, he just hates her for no reason. It's amazing.
It's like The Rock and Kevin Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
All The Rock and anyone interviewing him, really.
Yeah. He would always humiliate Coach. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, if anybody has any comments for this episode, either put it in the YouTube thread or put it in the thread on TVWW, and we'll go ahead and read it aloud if you're not a complete fuckwit.
We might answer live questions. Come on, Owen.
We know you're watching.
All right, now let's go ahead and move on to the NXT Women's Division. First, let's discuss Bayley. So right now, she's getting sidetracked a bit by Emma. Almost like Emma's either trying to feud her or maybe even turn her heel.
Hey, didn't Emma go to the main roster at one point?
Why, she did, Mr. Sissus.
And she's using that as fuel in this feud.
Burned out, dead inside, cynical Emma is amazing. Because she is basically telling the truth. Like, I've been there, and it's a wasteland.
Who was like, listen, I tried to be cool. I tried to appeal to you guys. You're a bunch of dicks. That's what it should turn into, just like dark, brooding.
It's great. Like, I loved Emma when she first went up. I was so mad when as soon as they paired her up with Santino, I was like, well, she's dead. That's it for her.
As good as this is, does it make you worry that they're going to run through the entire cycle of Bayley's personality? She's going to come full circle and finish her entire story. Then she's going to get called up and have nothing to do because she'll already be what the NXT audience would view as the finished product, but we didn't witness any of the journey to that point.
Well, how many stories are they ever going to give the Divas in the main roster? There are only the two stories. There's the jealous bitch story and the crazy bitch story.
But their backstory by saying she used to hug people. Now here she is on Raw.
I think they'll basically do to her what they did to Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas was a fully fleshed out character in NXT. And when he came up to the main roster, he was just some dork who said, "Oh, leave!"
They boil off pretty much everything else and just leave behind the one thing that they think is it.
So Bayley will be a hug, and that's it.
And then I think they'll keep the wacky inflatable arm waving tube guys.
They better.
Okay, here's the deal. If she's only on Raw for one match and then they fire her,
Bayley?
Yeah. Okay, hold on. This is just a hypothetical. What do you want her wearing? The dinosaurs or the robots?
The dinosaurs.
Are you on Team Dinosaur or Team Robot? You tell me now.
I don't know.
This is important.
I'm going to have to know what kind of dinosaurs they were.
Triceratops.
They were Triceratops.
I'm not a Triceratops fan.
Did you have like Triceratops horn like shoulder pads?
No, but that would be incredible.
And the robots were pretty cool. They were like the standard like square-headed robot. Like,
can we not discuss Bayley getting fired?
It is not Stegosaurus. I'm going to go with robots.
No, I'm just saying, like, I don't think she's ever going to be a force on the main roster, not because she's not talented, but just because WWE's WWE.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, if she was on for one show, what would you want?
The Bellas are currently tying up 1.5 spots in the Divas division that they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But here's the point I want to make. How long have the Bellas been in the company?
Too long.
Like, what, like 7, 8 years?
Yeah,
like that?
it's been a long time.
Okay, so it's been a long time. How many moments do we have with them? Maybe the Daniel Bryan thing?
The Daniel Bryan thing.
The thing match with Stephanie.
Yeah, where Stephanie made herself look like a dominant athlete.
That is a good point, but I forgot about it, which may negate your point.
You've also been drinking.
You've forgotten a lot of things in the last few minutes.
Fair enough.
weird like pseudo lesbian
enough.
thing they had, where one of them like made out with Paige.
Oh yeah.
I don't think that wasn't pseudo lesbian, just mind games.
Are we gonna talk about Paige at one point?
Yes.
When we get to the WrestleMania card. Now, also in the women's division on NXT, we have Alexa Bliss being a rising star, as one of you put it.
Do you think she's going to get a gritty reboot?
I think she's going to get a nothing reboot.
She's come a long way from taking off Triple H's pauldrons.
Yes.
Well, she's never going to get over as a pixie, is she?
No, I think what's going to happen, she's going to do well in NXT. She's going to get called up to the main roster and just be one of those faces who is interchangeable between Team Good Divas and Team Bad Divas. Like Alicia Fox.
The thing is, she's able to thrive more on NXT because, along with Charlotte, she's probably the most impressive actual athlete.
Sasha Banks is pretty good as well.
So yeah, Sasha Banks is amazing.
She is. There are a few, but I think Alexa Bliss is definitely right up there at the top.
She's a fantastic acrobat.
Yes.
She can do really cool lucha stuff. I hate her finisher.
The somersault moonflip.
Yeah, the sparkle splash where it looks like she just doesn't know how to do a moonsault.
Do you think she has the look? Because I don't.
I think she's decently attractive. She's attractive enough to be on the show, as piggish as that sounds.
Yeah.
She is a little shorter than AJ.
Yeah.
And AJ is already the tiny one of the division. But with women, that's not really something they play that much.
And I'm ready.
All right.
Okay, moving on.
Moving on. Now, can Alex Riley still make something of his career?
No.
All right, then.
Yes. I think he
It
can.
depends on your definition of something.
I don't think he can make it as a commentator. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
Does anyone think he's got commentary potential
No.
in his future?
No, but do you think he had wrestling potential either? Because I don't. So I mean, like, where does it leave it? I think he could be a good host.
So I felt bad during his match with Kevin Owens because the previous week, and the week before that, the Full Sail University crowd was solidly behind him.
That's because he wasn't fighting Kevin Owens.
Yeah, but then the next week, Columbus, the crowd just was not behind him at all.
Well, okay. He wasn't fighting Kevin Owens. There's a huge pro Owens section of the Full Sail crowd, which kind of pissed me off during his match with Zayn because they've spent all this time building up Sami Zayn as their hero and they love Sami Zayn, and then the second Kevin Owens comes along, they just fucking forget about him. That made me angry.
But I don't think that they forgot about him. I think that,
or rather, he was Kevin Owens was the shiny new object.
Yeah.
They do suffer from shiny syndrome a lot, the audience.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I did hear that the reason Sami Zayn is not wrestling at the moment is due to a shoulder injury.
that's what I figured. I almost figured it had to be an injury.
But then why did he wrestle at the Abu Dhabi tour?
Well,
I
I'm
don't know.
assuming
Why
because they don't go to
maybe-
Abu Dhabi.
And
Maybe
maybe he
he
just
just
doesn't
manned
powerbomb
up.
some of them into the ring apron if he had a bad shoulder.
That may have been how he got a bad shoulder.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I mean, on the flip side, I kind of agree with NXT on this. I mean, do you want your world champion that you just built up as the guy that killed Sami Zayn and has no remorse? Do you want him even being in a competitive match for the commentator? I mean,
No, I think he should have absolutely murked him.
Let's
Yeah,
refer back to when The Miz was champion. He was feuding with Jerry Lawler. That really harmed The Miz's credibility, I think. The fact that he needed Michael Cole to help him retain against Jerry Lawler. A 60-year-old man in a ladder match.
I see what you're saying, but I really like those matches, honestly.
Yeah.
And I like the match with Ric Flair and Edge, right after Edge won the time. That is weird that they've done that a couple of times. Someone gets the title and then immediately they face a legend, right off the bat.
Would you call Alex Riley a legend?
No. I'm not saying that. I was referring to Jerry Lawler.
No,
and Ric
I know
Flair.
what you mean.
He did hang out with The Miz a few times, and he's more than happy to remind you about that. He'll also tell you about all the times that he spent rolling around with the boys down at the Performance Center and how they rubbed off on him. So.
Oh, that's so...
Oh, yeah.
That's one of those where you
Hanging
have to
with
imagine,
the
the other
boys.
guys in the booth were like, really?
Yeah, that's right. I got that in my arsenal. Don't you worry about it.
And everywhere else.
Oh boy.
Right then.
Good thing I didn't stop it. I've got that in my arse.
So then our primary NXT talking point. Kevin Owens is still a beast. He destroys Riley and then goes on to defeat Finn Balor to retain the title.
And holy shit, that match with Balor was amazing.
You knew it was gonna be.
It had
Yeah.
like 3 commercial breaks. It had so much time.
Let me tell you the best thing about wrestling. The best thing about wrestling is when you expect an awesome match to happen, and it's even better than what you thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Like, Kevin
like,
Owens
okay.
and Sami Zayn do it all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. The bit where Balor gets his knee hurt in the corner.
Yeah.
I figured, okay, that's the end of the match. And they're gonna do like one more move and that's it.
And it goes on for
And it goes
10
on for
minutes.
like another 10 minutes where he's like cannonballing him in the corner under the knee. I mean, Jesus Christ.
And that was really the best thing that you could do for Finn Balor also, because I think everybody, I don't know what's going to happen when it goes to the main roster. Nobody ever knows. But I mean, like in NXT, I think he's a really good asset. And that kind of lifts him up to where he needs to be without actually putting a stamp on it.
It makes him vulnerable, so it makes his matches more interesting to watch.
Yeah.
Because now he can lose. But I think it was smart that they had him not go out with the demon makeup.
Yeah.
So he still got like that one big trick up his sleeve.
I almost wish they had done the same thing with Rusev, like had him just lose a big match so he could like, just get it out of the way and then and come back.
So
and
this
be
gets
dominant.
it gets his monster push out of the way, but in a way that isn't a total anticlimax.
Yeah. I agree.
Like what Rusev is about to experience.
The thing is, they're not very good at building winning streaks after somebody's lost. They don't really do it. They don't say this guy hasn't lost since such and such a guy beat him, which even though that'd be a really good way of building a feud later on, like I had the last guy to beat you.
Yeah, as soon as your undefeated streak ends, you just like go down.
You just
down,
lose
down.
every single match afterwards. Yeah.
I mean, it happened to Cesaro. It happened
Snitsky,
to Ryback is a good example.
Kozlov.
Basically, after you lose, you just really struggle to put more W's in the win column.
Precisely. All right, then. So shall we go ahead and move on to... Yes?
I was just going to point out that this match also made Kevin Owens look really good, too.
Yes.
Because A, it makes him look dominant. B, it makes him look smart. That's, I think, the biggest thing. Owens is probably the most compelling heel in all of WWE. Because he's a brute, but he's also really manipulative. Like, everything he says, he can say, like, I'm doing this for my family,
Yeah.
Which, on the one hand, that's a very compelling reason for him to act all underhanded and bastardly. But on the other hand, you kind of think he's lying. You know he's doing this because he is just a vicious bastard.
I'll tell you, all good villains, and you're a huge comic book fan, and so am I. All good villains have a side that you can relate with.
Yeah,
like Magneto.
Yeah, even like purely evil guys like the Joker.
Yeah,
like if you
like
listen to him talk,
you can at least understand where they're coming from. And I think like Kevin Owens is a perfect example of that. It's like he's a dickhead, but in his mind, he's doing what's right.
He's doing what's necessary.
Exactly.
I do what I have to do to make a better life.
He's like, I don't see all of you all the time. I see my family every single day. I'm going to look out for them. I don't give a shit about all
it. It makes him a great, compelling character, but it doesn't change the fact that he's an evil bastard.
Yeah. The sense that he's never actually reacting to things with emotion.
Everything
he does, or all the energy that he's putting into anything, is directly channeled to focus on his objective. Like when Alex Riley wound him up a little bit on commentary. He didn't just immediately elbow him in the face and start beating him up. He left, thought carefully about how he was going to do it, and then came back and just executed.
I thought that was a good episode. I thought that was an awesome episode.
You know what he is? He is like the Walter White of wrestling right now. We are watching NXT's Breaking Bad.
And it's just so sad because all of us, I don't think any one of us, do any of you believe that he will do shit when he goes to the main roster?
I think so. As long as he gets to go up with Zayn.
Oh my God!
Yes.
Oh, that's a thing that I haven't really thought about. I mean, they could cultivate feuds like.
I almost want them to make like an NXT invasion angle,
Oh.
where you just have like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and Adrian Neville all show up at once. Finn Balor all show up at once and say, guess what, motherfuckers? We're the show now.
That would be really cool.
I would like to see for Survivor Series.
Yes. Do like Team WWE versus Team NXT.
How cool would it be if there was a WrestleMania main event one day where there was two guys going against each other and you could trace their history all the way back to NXT?
Yeah, that would be amazing.
That would be fucking crazy.
I will say like 5 years. Give like Neville, okay, maybe not Neville, but like Balor.
Oh,
Neville's great, but he looks weird.
He is a little Geordie Goblin, unfortunately.
But you can play into that. I mean, Bo Dallas looks the weirdest. He's the weirdest fucking guy
and
ever.
where
I
is
mean,
he
hell,
right
going,
now?
yeah. Well, he's injured.
That's true.
But,
I
going
think
back
he's
to
injured.
like NXT version 1, you've got Daniel Bryan, you've got Bray Wyatt, you got Ryback, you've got all these guys that they can say these are NXT success stories. And then you have this new generation of hungry guys, people who are motivated and who want to, start a revolution. That would be an incredible storyline if they ever think
They would
of
have a
doing
chance to do the Nexus correctly and with guys that are much closer to being a finished article for the most part.
it. Yeah.
So really quick, I know you're usually the social media ambassador, but I'm just rolling around.
I was actually about to bring these.
Yeah,
posts
let's
up.
see.
Yeah, go for it. Go for
Any
it.
notable posts from the TLP universe?
A few. Mr. Vito Cruz writes in the state that Alex Riley should definitely be pushed into a cannon and then shot into the sun.
Yeah, I thought that was going somewhere like that. I thought maybe over the edge of a cliff.
Literally,
Out
listen.
an open window.
The thing with Alex Riley is that he's not bad per se. It's just like everybody, a lot of other people are better.
Yeah, he's
Basically-
fine. He would make a perfectly fine addition to the TNA rosters,
or the Lucha Underground roster,
Yeah.
or the
like GFW.
he's a perfectly feasible worker. Like he's fine.
He
It's
could be in the
just
Curtis Axel role right now.
Vito
Yeah.
Cruz also tells us that Tommy should not actually hit the GTS until a title match.
oh, you're right.
That would not be
you're
a bad
actually
idea.
right.
Like if he saves it for like when he goes up against Kevin Owens or something. Oh God, I hope they do a Tommy versus Owens. That would be amazing.
Can he pick up Owens?
Probably. I mean, I've seen Kenta. I've seen Kenta pick up huge guys.
No, you know what? I think he should be a total asshole. They bring him up to the main roster, and the first time he ever does it is on AJ Lee.
Oh no! Oh God! No.
Just to get pumped angry for no reason.
Have you seen Hideo's GTS?
It's brutal.
Yeah, it's
It's-
like he's trying
it's
to
brutal.
forcibly remove your head with his knee.
Well, and I think that's one of the main reasons why he hasn't got over on NXT is that viciousness has kind of been neutered a little bit.
Yeah, he can't hit as hard as he did in Japan.
Now, both Innovator and Sleepy Turkey Demon say that they will fight anyone who badmouths Alexa Bliss.
Ooh.
So some bold words
So you're
there.
gonna have to go through
Listen,
that tag team if
I
you
think
want to
I think she's a
badmouth
good talent. Like I think she looks kind of weird, guys. Like she's kind of small. Like she's got like the small stout
Snout.
build, stout, like the beer stout build, and I don't know. Like I don't know if I see it going over. However, the crazy thing is once these divas that we have right now are gone, I mean, like who's gonna be there?
Eva Marie.
You know, as much as I shit talk the Bellas, and as much as I shit talk Ash, who's the black girl? Alicia Fox, and like all that stuff is like, if they were taken off the roster today, what would the women's division be? You know, like
Yeah, you'd have to just plunder the NXT women's scene.
yeah, I mean, because there's only like probably 6 or 7 women that they have on the main roster all the time. So
Yeah.
if they lost a couple of them, I mean, it would just be in shambles. And I know a lot of people think that they're like piss break matches and stuff like that, but every once in a while they really fucking surprise you and they have good matches, you know? And
Yeah, like
sometimes
Paige,
good storylines.
Paige
too.
had some really good matches with Alicia Fox.
Yeah.
The Bellas are both actually getting much better.
Yeah.
Like it's weird. Like I used to think Brie was way better than Nikki, and now Nikki, I think, is considerably better than Brie.
It's not that they're not good wrestlers. It's not that they're not good in the ring. I mean, like, for forever the Bellas were not good in the ring. No. But I think, like, they've come into their own. It's just that, I mean, like,
they're given,
I don't care.
Yeah, they're given nothing to work with. They're given characters that just say, we're horrible people, and they're given no time to do anything.
Yeah. They were given a really silly, you be my personal assistant angle that was dragged out way too long because someone just had to choose 30 days for no reason.
And then they dropped it for no reason.
They just got so bored of it. And by the end they thought, you know what, let's just pretend that didn't happen. And
they don't see anything through.
Blood is thicker than water. I wish the explanation given.
Is it still thicker than water when you say, I wish you'd never been born? At that point, I think you thinned the blood down quite considerably.
I think the exact words were, I wish you died in the womb.
Yeah. I love my brothers. If one of them said to me that they wished I had died in their womb, I would never speak to them again.
I don't think that's true, dude. Because if my sister said, like...
Well, okay. Not for several years.
Okay. I was going to say, like, if my sister, like, tomorrow was like, yeah, I wish you were never born. You're a piece of shit, or blah blah blah. We're like, okay, and then we would just be at my dad's house the next week eating dinner together. Like, you know how you can say things to your family that you would never say to anybody else. I don't know, but all
right. Now the final comment so far. Innovator says, directed at me specifically, that Tyler Breeze is not supposed to be downright adorable. I disagree, sir. He is Prince Pretty.
Oh, really? Innovator, we gave you a shout-out last WrestleMania, but this time, I'm calling you out. It would have been way better if I didn't trip on the way up to the webcam.
You know, your blood feud tonight, between you and me, is back on.
And no, I'm kidding. I know that you would soundly defeat me in combat because you are a physical marvel.
So one more question before we run. Slick, you should be naming right and saying that an NXT invasion might not be a good idea because that would make all of them heels.
It would also kind of be a rehash of what they did with Nexus. It's almost exactly. It would be almost exactly.
Well, okay. There were faces that came out of the invasion, like Rob Van Dam.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, RVD. I would say he was the only one, but you can't do Kidman. He was a face out of the WCW faction. He was given nothing to work with.
I suppose Chuck Palumbo was a face coming out of that.
Here's how you can tell how the WWE handled that whole situation with acquiring WCW. How many WCW competitors are active wrestlers right now?
So when you said competitors, I was about to say Charles Robinson.
Yeah, it's basically just Charles Robinson.
Wait, Charles Robinson and Booker T, who's a
There's one more from that era who's active. Sting.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, here's how you can tell they screwed up the invasion. How many WCW legends showed up after the invasion ended? Answer: all of them.
And how many primary WCW guys are in the Hall of Fame? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
but
I mean, there's some guy, but if they weren't WWE first, I mean, they're not in the fucking Hall.
The problem with any kind of invasion storyline, there's so many moving parts. It's so easy to get it wrong, and they do things wrong that are difficult to get wrong. Honestly, so when you give them something like that, where they actually have to work really hard to make it succeed.
Well, okay. I was at the point. I'm fantasy booking in a perfect world where they know how to tell good stories.
I think they know how to. They just choose not to.
By the way, random thought that just came to me because I was thinking about it. Is Jim Duggan in the Hall of Fame?
I hope not. I hate Jim Duggan.
Really?
I never liked him.
I guess I just assumed he was, but maybe not.
I know that I'm the same way. I assumed that he was, but I'm not sure if he is or not.
If only we had the internet.
Google, let us know.
Internet on your Star Trek device there.
See, part of me thinks that I never saw anything like that, but then another part of me could just imagine a WWE like package for Jim Duggan as Hall of Fame.
If there was an inanimate object wing at the Hall of Fame, his 2x4 would be in there, definitely.
All right, now while I look that up, let's go on and start discussing the WrestleMania card. First up, we received some breaking news via the WWE app about an hour and a half ago. That the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal will now be contested during the second hour of the WrestleMania kickoff show.
All our worst fears have been realized.
Yeah. So that's a complete waste of time.
Why don't they even? Why will they even fucking do it? And by the way, didn't they have a battle royal as the pre-show a long time ago?
Yeah, that was the whole thing.
Yes.
Like, I mean, last year they were like, every WrestleMania, we're going to honor Andre the Giant. And then the very next year, they're like, it's not important.
Hey, Andre the Giant, you're important enough to be on the pre-show. Just so you know, man. You headlined WrestleMania 3, but
Yeah, you basically
that was a long
WWF
time.
before Hulk Hogan came along.
Jim, how long did his statue last as well last time? Was it about 3 days before someone smashed it to pieces?
Jim Duggan is a 2-time Slammy Award winner and was in the 2011 class for the Hall of Fame.
2011? Wow, that was like 4 years. How did we not fucking remember that?
I don't know.
That was during the period where I didn't watch wrestling, so...
See, I was intently watching wrestling, and I still don't fucking remember.
Were you drunk while intently watching wrestling?
Fair enough.
Let's see, 2011. Who was in that year? That was Shawn Michaels' year.
Ah, okay. Well,
Okay.
let's start breaking down the WrestleMania card, shall
Okay.
we?
So, anything more to discuss for the Battle Royal?
Other than, like, okay, why the fuck is Goldust in the Battle Royal and Cody in the Intercontinental title match? And they just had this whole big feud where they're trying, or Goldust is trying to save Cody from the Stardust identity.
And they dropped it.
And then they just stopped. They just forgot that it was happening.
And does it even matter who really wins the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal anymore?
No, because it's not on the card.
Because the trophy will just get destroyed in 2 weeks.
Because I was thinking, well, maybe you could give it to Mizdow, and that would really push him to the next level. But winning a pre-show Battle Royal, even if there's a trophy that he could then make the Miz carry around, that would be funny.
Oh my gosh.
But it would have been so much better if it was on the main show.
Yeah. And, like, why are they bumping it? To just give more time to stupid celebrity segments?
Maybe.
If there's a musical performance that lasts as long as the Battle Royal, I'm going to cheese off.
I think Snoop Dogg needs to embarrass a couple more people.
Yes, because on Raw, he did kind of try to prevent Axelmania from running wild.
That makes me
with help from his buddy Hulk Hogan.
That makes me so goddamn angry. Why do you do this? Why do you, a company that promotes people under the illusion that they are professional fighters, make your guys look like idiots, complete helpless fools, whenever a celebrity comes along?
I don't know, though, like, because some of them are okay. You know, like the Hugh Jackman thing I thought was really good.
Hugh Jackman
was fine.
Hugh Jackman is a jacked dude who plays a superhero.
He's Wolverine.
Yeah, I will buy
he was also an amateur boxer at one point.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
And then, like, when Mickey Rourke came in and stuff, like, you know, like...
Fine.
Although the Mickey Rourke thing was kind of stretching it because he's really fucking awful.
Yeah, no. But a guy, an active professional wrestler, getting punked out by a decrepit old pothead, fuck you.
Yeah. There are moments every once in a while, like, where you watch WWE and you try so hard, you're just like, okay, I'm fine. And then you're just with, like, fuck you.
Yeah, it's one of those where it's like, I feel embarrassed to be watching this.
Axel
I don't want anyone to see
any of us that were hardcore Miz fans when he was WWE champion, fuck you.
Yeah.
Chris Axel is in the position that Mizdow was in when he was going through all his different weird costumes week by week.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell that he could make something good out of it because even if you don't think he's that talented, he's got something there. He knows what he's doing in this role. They're just completely burying him.
Here's my problem. Here's my biggest problem. And this is a problem WWE does all the fucking time. They refuse to let things grow without their consent. Like when Cesaro started getting big, they had to shut him down.
Stop doing the swing.
When Damian Sandow started getting big, they had to shut him down. When Stardust started making, getting over, they shut him down. And it's like, okay, I get that you don't want people cheering for the heels because you're a babyface-friendly show, but all of the most popular babyfaces of all time first got big as heels. Think about it. Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, John Cena, fucking Hulk Hogan.
But don't you think that that's kind of turned into like a thing that people use against smarks to be like, oh, just turn him heel and then everything will be fine? Like
maybe, but I mean, it's not. I'm not saying everyone's better as a heel because some people are much better as babyfaces. But let people latch onto things organically. Let them cheer who they want to cheer, and then if you see them cheering them, make them a face.
And then build it off that. Yeah, like
don't shut it down when people start to want to get excited about the show that they're watching.
So I just got texted by our co-host Zach Factor,
Big Daddy Z.
Big Daddy Z.
Z Gangsta.
Z
Use
Gangsta.
that one?
No, he told me
Zachariah.
not to use it, and I'm using it now.
And he brought up a good point, which I kind of wanted to talk about. First off, I don't even know who it is, but every year WrestleMania has a musical guest, so he says, "Fuck the musical guest bullshit. Waste of time. I'd rather see a match." So what do you all think about it? By the way, do we even know who it is?
Is it LL Cool J?
Oh, Christ.
What? Are you kidding me? Oh my God!
Please correct us if it's not.
Why couldn't they tell us this before we bought tickets?
Oh, Mama said knock you out.
Oh, Jesus Christ. But no, you're right. They always do a musical guest, and they always suck.
And there was a horrible backstage segment. It used to be like old women and old commentators.
Damn.
So,
And now it's going to be them beating up Heath Slater.
as a wrestling fan, right now, if you're watching this, do you resonate with the musical guest? Do you like it? Do you think it's a necessary component to what WrestleMania is, or would you rather get the fuck out of it?
Performing a live
Innovator, if you're watching, I want
your. If someone's doing an entrance theme live, that's fine. That makes it seem like a big occasion.
Yeah, okay, like last year when
no reason.
Yeah.
When Mark Crozier and the Rails came out to sing "Broken on Love" for Bray Wyatt,
that was fine.
That was cool as hell. When they were wearing like the crazy plague doctor masks and everything.
Yeah.
If it's a part of the show and it's a part of the matches and it's a part of like what the wrestlers are doing, then I'm fine.
Yeah, but if it's just like
if it's a standalone like Aretha Franklin, Limp Bizkit type deal that they've been doing, Kid Rock.
Okay, if they had Aretha Franklin and Limp Bizkit, I would want to see that.
I know, I'm just listing out things. Yeah, they're all.
I agree. It's a waste of time. It doesn't serve any purpose. Because, okay, the stage isn't set up to make the singer sound good. It just wastes time. It doesn't further any storylines. It takes time away from matches.
I didn't care about, like, John Legend, like, America the Beautiful. Like, that's fine. I mean, like, I don't care about that stuff. But if you're having, like, well, listen, the Star Spangled Banner and all that stuff, it's totally fine. I don't care.
Yeah.
But if you're just going to have, like, Limp Bizkit come around and just fuck around for 7 minutes, I mean, I'd rather watch a match.
Yeah.
You know, like,
it's like that should be on the pre-show.
Yeah. I hear you.
So what's next on the
So next on the agenda, we have the other matches on the pre-show, the 4-way tag team title match.
Jesus.
So depressing.
Yeah.
Just when the tag division actually looked like it was heading in a direction where all the teams involved inside the picture were credible. They had a little bit of a story between them, with the Usos and Cesaro and Kid at least. And then because it's WrestleMania season, they decide, well, actually, the tag division doesn't really matter. We need something to fill up the pre-show. So let's just throw in another couple of random teams that have done nothing recently to warrant this position, just so we can do the traditional 4-team, 2 guys in the ring at the same time, weird spots where you tag in other teams, everyone comes in and does their finisher at the end, and nothing really changes.
Like, okay, I was sick to death of the Usos being tag champions, but they put on good matches. Cesaro is the single most underappreciated person in the WWE roster.
Maybe Tyson Kidd, because even the intelligent fans don't always appreciate him.
True, I like Tyson Kidd a lot too, and they are quickly becoming one of my favorite things ever.
All right, here we go. From WWE.com, entertainment icon LL Cool J will appear in the open of WrestleMania 31.
But the tag match. All right, Los Matadores, why are they still a thing? Was anyone entertained with them for more than like a week?
Would it have killed them?
And they've been around for 2 years.
So, I mean, both on SmackDown and Raw, we had 6 being interspecies tag team matches.
I know, and who fucking cares? It is honestly... Okay, Los Matadores are only there to act as a vehicle for El Torito.
And
El Torito is there because WWE thinks their fans are all stupid children.
And then in these 2 matches, El Torito and Natalia traded pins.
It's so stupid and so pointless, and I fucking hate them. I hate them.
If you want to make tag division interesting, you can't just throw in nobodies to
Yeah.
fill up numbers.
Okay,
Why not just
then-
give us a compelling
Yeah.
Usos versus Tyson Kidd and Cesaro match? They can do it.
Because it's WrestleMania and they need to give everybody a payday. And okay, the New Day are more dead in the water than the crew of the Titanic.
Ooh, why couldn't you just give the New Day or Los Matadores to the Ascension on the pre-show if you want to do something down there?
Yeah, but I mean, nobody cares about the New Day. And that's a shame because I like Kofi Kingston, I like Big E, I'm indifferent to Xavier Woods.
I like Xavier.
But did anyone
He's
really think
fine.
it was going to work?
Okay, well, you remember the original idea they had for the stable where they were going to be these, like, where Xavier was going to be, like, this, like, professor type, and they were going to be, like, almost like revolutionaries. They were going to be, like, the new Nation of Domination.
That would have been fine.
I mean, it's still skating on thin ice in terms of, like, possibly being racist, but
I think skating on possibly being racist is a huge step up from what they usually do.
yeah, okay.
So I would have accepted that.
But it's better than the absolute nothing that the New Day are.
Yeah.
So you've got two really entertaining tag teams, and then two tag teams that are absolutely nothing, and possibly worse than nothing.
Well, look who decided to come crawling back to the show. We just talked about the tag title scene, so you didn't miss anything.
So we have a projected time breakdown from TLP listener Vito Cruz. So be very liberal about match times. Give a half hour each to Lesnar Reigns, Taker Wyatt, Sting Triple H, and the ladder match.
Okay.
20 minutes for Orton Rollins, 10 minutes for the Divas tag title match, 5 minutes per entrance for Taker, Wyatt, Sting, and Triple H. 10 minutes for the musical guest. That's 3 hours. Where's the other hour come from?
Well, you know that Michael Cole or JBL have to explain how to download something for about half an hour, so there's that.
Yeah.
down.
You know Triple H's entrance is going to be insane. Which, by the way, I like. I like it. I like it.
I love that it's like the ultimate like realization of Triple H's ego. It's like, this is what I think I am in my head.
What about the post 10-minute period of the Triple H match? It's going to be either Triple H posing with the sledgehammer over the defeated corpse of Sting, or Triple H pulling himself up on the ropes for about half an hour.
Yeah, while the crowd gives him the respect clap.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wanted to bring this up as far as the WrestleMania Triple H thing. Does he have to win at some point?
No.
Why? Because
No. He's at the point in his career, they have built him up for so long to be so fucking bulletproof that no matter what, even if he loses every WrestleMania from here till he dies, beating Triple H at WrestleMania still feels like a big deal.
But he lost to Cena. He's lost to Takers 2 times.
Yes, but every
Three
time,
times?
every time though, it's a damn good match, and it takes forever to beat him.
Yeah,
So he's
and
not.
that- but
He's not being jobbed out. He's putting people over.
Yeah, but to maintain the credibility of the guy that he is, I think next WrestleMania he probably needs to beat somebody. I don't know, like if they're gonna continue with it. I mean, like I'm not the hugest fan of Triple H, but I mean, like from a fan's perspective, if you're watching a guy that used to be good get beat every fucking WrestleMania, like why do you even care?
Well, who
You
would you put forward as someone that Triple H should beat at WrestleMania? Would you say bring back someone like The Rock, who's going to be around even less than he is?
Well, I mean, like,
Well, that's the other thing. I utterly despise when part-timers go over full-time talent. So, as
welcome to WWE.
I know. So, as a part-time wrestler, Triple H shouldn't be going over full-time talent.
What would you classify Sting as, though? Because his presence is there full-time. His doubles are probably there full-time in the rafters, just chilling.
Oh, Mr. Vito Cruz, you forgot about Cena and Rusev while you were calculating time.
Maybe he just doesn't want to give them any time. Maybe he just assumes that Mr. USA is going to march in there and just trample all over Russia in about 2 minutes.
18 seconds.
Because America is
No,
strong.
17.
Yeah, if he beats Sheamus's WrestleMania record.
Legit. Does anybody, any one of us, there's 4 of us here, do any of us think that Rusev is going to do that?
No, not a chance in hell.
No, especially considering he got the last word in the beatdown.
Yeah. Okay, shall we move on?
Yes. So let's go ahead and move on to Orton and Rollins.
I think this has the potential to steal the show.
I do too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Seth
absolutely.
Rollins is the best guy in WWE right now. And that's saying a lot, considering Daniel Bryan is back. Dolph Ziggler has been tearing it up. Luke Harper has been tearing it up. Rollins right now is the most entertaining guy to watch. Randy, I've always been very
Bland.
I've always been apathetic towards Randy. But when you put him against somebody who can go,
Yeah, exactly.
he can be incredibly entertaining.
So we've been doing this podcast for what, almost 2 years, right?
I thought you meant this particular episode.
No,
Like, it feels like 2 years.
It's getting pretty hot in here.
No, this podcast we've been doing for 2 years. At the very beginning of it, we had a certain opinion of Randy Orton. Is it fair? Do we think about him differently now, or
Randy can dance, but he cannot lead.
I agree with you. So yes,
Similar to the
absolutely.
way I feel about John Cena. I feel like if you put him in there with somebody who's going to put on a really good match against a broomstick, then they're going to do their fair share. But then they can't carry someone to a good match.
Yeah.
Yes, it's that thing where if you put Orton against Triple H, it's going to be okay. But if you put him against a guy like Christian, they're going to steal the show every fucking time.
All of that said, though, Randy should not be in this match. It should be Dean Ambrose. Because Ambrose was the one who had the story with Rollins.
What is Ambrose doing?
Ladder match.
He's in the ladder match.
He's in the ladder.
He just
match.
decided, you know what? I'm the guy who betrayed me and tried to kill me. Whatever. I'm going to go grab the Intercontinental title.
That does seem crazy that they somehow overlooked the Rollins Ambrose thing.
Yeah, well, they repeated the same spot with Randy. Oh, like he curb stomped him through cinder blocks and tried to kill him. So now Randy's the one trying to get revenge on Rollins when it should be Ambrose.
I think like 3 or 4 months ago, we all just assumed that it was going to be
That's
Roman
why
Reigns in the main event, and then those two were going to go against.
Yeah, that's why I was cool with like the Hell in a Cell match ending the way it did, with Bray Wyatt ambushing Ambrose. I was like, well, it's okay because later on Ambrose is going to get his revenge at WrestleMania, and then they just decided, nah. I feel like that storyline happened to give Randy something to do.
Maybe.
Because I heard like last year Randy was really pissed that like his main event was basically just going to Daniel Bryan, and this year he was upset that he wasn't getting a high profile match. So they're like, all right, fuck it, you're turning face and you're fighting Seth Rollins.
That would be, yeah. I don't know.
I don't know if that's true, but I buy it.
It's very likely going to be a very good match.
Now, what did you guys feel on Raw about the WWE app vote of who Randy Orton's opponent for the evening will be between Kane, The Big Show, and Seth Rollins and J&J Security?
At least they were different choices this time.
I got another text from Zach, and he said Zach Factor, if you will.
Z Gangsta, thank you.
Z Gangsta. Oh, he texted me and said he didn't like Z Gangsta. But he said, what if, like, I'm imagining this now in my mind. What if Triple H played to the ring by fucking Metallica?
That would be pretty amazing.
That'd be pretty awesome.
I mean, hasn't it been played to the ring by Motorhead before?
Yeah, which is probably better. But
Does
Honestly,
Motorhead do both of his things?
Yes.
Okay.
yeah, they do the King of Kings and they do
The game, yeah. I mean, he has come down to the ring to Metallica music before. Like when he fought The Undertaker, he came down to Whom the Bell Tolls.
Oh, that was sweet.
Or For Whom the Bell Tolls.
That was sweet.
You have to specify which match against Undertaker.
The second one. The one at WrestleMania 27.
Well, they
Where
wanted
they
us to believe was the first one.
Oh, God.
Okay, I'm gonna derail the podcast really quick. I'm
Oh,
really
no.
sorry, guys.
Oh, no.
Listen, I'm drunk. It popped into my head. Your favorite theme song from WWE ever? Go.
Ever?
Ever.
Ooh,
Your
The
favorite
Mountie.
entrance theme?
Definitely the Mountie. That was incredible.
Yeah.
The Mountie.
He's handsome, he's brave, he's strong.
The Brood.
That was an awesome theme.
The one Billy Gunn.
Oh my God! How did that go? It was
Oh god, I don't remember because every time I want to think Billy Gunn's theme song, I need to go, I'm an ass man.
It's like,
So the women walk behind me as I'm walking down the street because I'm an ass man. Wow.
So the one Billy Gunn, how'd that go?
I can see
why it's your favorite.
It's Dan.
Look at all I've got.
Oh yeah. Enough to make a blind man see.
Everything you wish you had. Well,
God gave it all
to
to
me.
me. I'll tell you my favorite, just because I watched that event from 2011 in the summer of punk, and when he came out that time, I mean, like, everybody always knew it was an awesome theme that that Kill Switch Engage.
Yeah, This Fire Burns.
This Fire Burns. I listen to it all the time still. But that event, like, just put it into legend status. I mean, and that's probably my favorite theme because it finished so well.
I love This Fire Burns, but I like Cult of Personality better.
Cult of Personality is really good. So I would say that between the two songs, Cult of Personality is better overall, but Fire Burns has like that middle part that's just awesome.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. This Fire Burns was definitely good for like early era punk.
Yeah.
Like during his first stretch, like while he had the long hair.
I fucking love that song. I would get those lyrics tattooed on my heart. Like, I love them.
So I'm gonna throw one more song into the ring here. Metalingus, Edge's thing.
Oh,
okay. Wait.
Such an awesome theme.
That was a really good one. Ollie Stalefish, the Dudley Boys' original theme song.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I'm going to throw out a really weird one. And I know I did it on the podcast at one point, and I sang it, but it was ridiculous. But Collie's theme is pretty fucking good.
Okay, what about Buff Bagwell?
Okay, no.
I forget. I don't even know what his theme was.
Stevie Richards and the Right to Censor.
Oh
God.
Okay, let's go.
So listeners, go ahead and post your favorites, and we'll read those later on in the show.
Nice.
So, moving on right along.
Michael.
So the next match to talk about is the Divas tag match, AJ and Paige versus the Bellas.
It's not going to get as much time as it needs to be good, unfortunately, because it's a tag team match. It's probably going to end in a roll-up or some kind of turn.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some tomfoolery involved. I don't see a clean finish.
So now, I mean, there was some tomfoolery with the lead-up match on Raw, where AJ accidentally cost Paige the Divas title.
Who would turn heel and join the Bellas out of those two?
I would say Paige, because she's the one on Total Divas.
I can see that, but I mean,
she's on Total Divas right now?
I can see that, but I mean, like, AJ is... I have to imagine she's leaving. Because...
I don't know, though. It feels like one of those things that's going to happen, but, like, we haven't had any indication of it.
I'm surprised it didn't happen a year ago.
Yeah.
You could align Paige with the Bellas. They could all be besties, and then they could beat down AJ. She goes away, and then up would rise some new challenger, maybe someone from NXT.
It would be cool if, like, you bring in Charlotte. Yeah.
I mean, it is time for her to come up.
It really is.
It is.
Especially since Sasha Banks is the champion now.
I don't know. The whole women's division just seems like a crapshoot at this point.
Yeah, like, I can't really call it because, I don't care. And that sucks because I love AJ Lee. I fucking love Paige.
Let me ask this question. Do you think that there will ever be a woman that headlines the WWE? Like, they're in like the top 5?
No.
Yes.
I think so too. Only because, like, when you think back to the Trish Stratus Lita days, where they main evented a Raw and
So
it was an
I'm going to
awesome
say
match.
not in the Vince era.
No, I think I would say give it.
Top 5.
I say give it 3 years. I say give it 3 years, and we will see. Okay, here's the thing: a lot of like nerd entertainment is becoming more and more mainstream. I think wrestling is catching on to that again, and they're going to have to get more, progressive and more inclusive.
Yeah.
And that means more and better material for wider audiences, which means they're going to have to give more time to women. They're going to have to give better material.
Especially
for
all
women.
of the social media calamity that's been going on lately.
Yeah.
But
Like, that was the start of it. The AJ Lee thing was the start.
Yeah.
We'll probably go back in history and look at that tweet as the start of that movement.
I don't see it being any of the current crop. Maybe Paige, because Paige is like 21, so she's got a long career.
The 21-year-old from Norwich, England, Michael.
for them,
So,
giving more time to women seems to just mean they have a reality show now because that's what women like. They don't like wrestling.
Yeah, which is horrible. But I think, okay, AJ, all right, AJ I think is going to leave. I think Paige definitely has a shot at being that.
Charlotte, she is Ric Flair's daughter.
Charlotte, absolutely. I would, in fact, say that Charlotte might be like the new China, where they have her
She could wrestle men.
Yeah, where they have her wrestle men or like take the Intercontinental title.
That brings up a good question. So, in the history of the WWE or WCW or just wrestling in general, who is the most popular woman ever?
Trish.
Trish or Lita.
Are we saying that just because we were watching during the
okay,
Attitude
she
Era,
definitely
or?
yeah, I would say so. But I would say in terms of like, given the size of the audience at the time, Medusa.
But mainstream
Alundra Blaze.
I'm actually with you. Like, Alundra Blaze was fucking huge, and then she did that whole shenanigans with WCW.
Yeah,
and like,
that was a big deal.
But I mean, I don't think WCW capitalized on it because they were so. I mean, like,
She was also the first Paul Heyman girl.
But if you ask,
She was part of the Dangerous Alliance back in
You're
WCW.
right.
If you ask a non-wrestling fan to name a woman from wrestling, I think the number one name that would come up would be Miss Elizabeth.
I would say
my
Miss
God, you're
Elizabeth
right.
or like Trish or Lita.
And
So-
and Miss Elizabeth wasn't even a wrestler.
Trish Stratus was so big that one of her finishers was passed on to someone she feuded with, and then that woman passed on that finisher to someone she feuded
Are you talking
with.
about the chick kick or
Yeah.
the okay?
Trish Stratus was so big she had them taken out when she left.
I don't know. Like, I kind of like this topic of women's wrestling because it's always like the, the backstory of everything that's happening.
Yeah. And the Divas title match on Raw did get time. Like, it happened to like one, maybe even two commercials.
Yeah, but
And
I mean, like I was saying, women are taking a bigger role in like nerdy subcultures. Women are a huge part of the comics audience now, which is why you're seeing stuff like the new Batgirl and Spider-Gwen and Ms. Marvel. Why Thor is a girl now. They're becoming a bigger part of like the action movie audience. Like the Hunger Games was massive.
Well, yeah, the Hunger Games has a female protagonist that drives the
And
entire
I think,
movie.
okay, wrestling is almost always like 3 to 5 years behind the rest of pop culture, but I think it is going to happen. I think sooner or later we are going to see a much better women's division, but it's going to have to take a lot of outside pressure. It's going to have to take. It basically won't happen until Vince is gone. And until Kevin Dunn is gone.
So what would you think? Like, I mean, I don't know if she would ever do this or anything, but do you think it would be beneficial to get either Lita or Trish or Jazz to be a trainer for NXT or for?
I don't think so. Okay, I don't think so because right now the current trainer is Sarah Del Rey. Sarah Del Rey is amazing.
Oh, she's great.
Yeah, okay.
Oh my! I actually didn't even know that.
Trish and Lita and all them were trained by men, and so they kind of just do like female version of men's moves. They have like, the snapmare, but I'm pulling your hair while I'm doing it. And Sarah Del Rey.
Sarah Del Rey's like the one name that you heard about that never became like a huge name.
Yeah.
But was the one that everybody kind of respected in the women's wrestling.
Yeah, like Sarah Del Rey,
like the William Regal of women.
Yeah. Sarah Del Rey, knows how female physiology works. She knows what looks good with a woman doing, what is convincing offense.
I should have been clear.
That's why guys like Bayley or girls like Bayley and Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch are so much better to watch than like the disposable divas of the last decade.
I think with that batch of women like Trish and Lita and all those models that then turned into passable wrestlers under the training that they had from Finlay, a lot of the female wrestlers we have now actually started off being actual wrestlers.
Yeah.
They didn't just start off as just they're the eye candy, because women are just treated differently in society in general now. Like when wrestling was getting really big, that's when the internet started coming out and people started having free access to just looking at naked women on their computer without having to hide it under their mattress all the time.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, as much as people say, like, oh, I'm not interested in this woman because she's not hot enough. Like, dude, if you're just gonna look at women's bodies, fucking go look at porn.
Exactly. Isn't that the weirdest thing? Like when people were like, oh, she should have shown more skin. You'd be like, dude, you probably have Comcast or something. You could go to any other fucking channel in the entire.
Like, the internet will give you all the boobs and vaginas you want for free.
Almost any channel at one point. If you're watching it constantly, you'll find TNA at some point. I mean, like, just go off and fucking do that.
Get with the times. Who's the most credible female athlete in the world right now? Maybe Ronda Rousey.
Mm-hmm. Ronda Rousey,
when she's out there in the cage, the commentators say she looks hot tonight.
You don't hear dirty old Jerry Lawler perving all over Ronda Rousey.
No, because she's just in there to kick somebody's butts. Don't say that about the ring girls walking around with the cars, because that's their job.
This brings me a great idea. So I'm going to make a proclamation right now. In the next
proclamation.
TL proclamation. The next couple months, we will do a 1-hour supplemental podcast on just women's wrestling. Honestly, we have a lot to say about it.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And we've spent way too much time talking about it today.
Yeah, on this WrestleMania podcast, but we will do a supplemental podcast about that because there's so much to talk about. I mean, like with Moolah and with May and like just everything that's happening.
Yeah.
But we'll go ahead and move on.
All right, so a couple points from the thread before we move on. Sleepy Chicken Demon was going to say that he agrees about Miss Elizabeth being the most iconic woman, but also there cannot be any man-on-woman violence, not with today's media.
Or with the sponsors that don't allow it.
Yeah, I know, like the toy companies don't allow it.
Yeah,
but I mean,
now also some themes that have been suggested. He also writes into just Disco Fever. Vito Cruz
I
says,
love Disco Fever.
Vito Cruz says Goldberg's WCW thing.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Vito, you're so right. You've been right.
Owen Brown writes in to say one that I totally agree with. Broken Dreams, Drew McIntyre's thing.
Oh, you're right. It was way better than he was.
Oh, that's one of those things where it was better when they didn't shave off the intro, like Sheamus's.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sheamus's, like, you can go to the intro and it's, yeah. But McIntyre's, like, the full theme was so good.
Mm-hmm. That was an awesome thing. I can't believe I
did. We ever do that on the podcast?
Huh?
I don't think we did. I don't think we did.
All right.
If we didn't, we will at one point. I'll bring it back.
Okay. When we do the supplemental podcast, I will discuss the whole man-on-woman violence thing because that is a very good point.
Yeah.
And I do have stuff to say about that, but we'll do that another time.
And it's crazy because I think like ECW did it in almost an okay way. Like
sometimes
it was way over the line, but there were a couple times where it was okay.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
I'm gonna pile drive your unborn kids.
All right, so moving right along, we have Rusev and Cena.
What is there to say about this match? Everybody knows exactly how it's going to happen.
I mean,
Rusev got the final beatdown. Cena's fighting for America. Rusev's undefeated. It's John Cena. It's WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Could there possibly be any outcome other than John Cena getting a beating and then hitting a couple of AA?
He's going to be in the accolade. Yes. He's going to be in the accolade. He's going to look like he's about to pass out. And then the power of America is going to reinvigorate him. He's going to pick Rusev up from the accolade into the AA, drop him, and that's the end.
No, that's not going to be the end. He is going to make him tap to the STF.
Okay. And then he's going to, like, throw an American flag at Lana.
Actually, I will actually go, no, Lana's not even going to be there. I'm actually going to go as far as to say that Rusev won't tap. He will pass out a second time to the STF.
I think he's going to tap because they have to prove that he's a coward. That he's going to humble him.
I don't know. And this may be a controversial opinion or whatever, but I kind of see where they're going. Like here's the deal. Like if he loses to Rusev, at this point, I mean, I don't think he's gonna put over Rusev insanely or anything like that. You know, like I mean, there was a time where probably it would, or maybe if they did it right, it could put him over in the right way. But I just don't see. I mean, like, he just seems like a Snitsky to me. He just seems like a dude that is passing the time in the main event or, like, at least in the upper tier until they find somebody else. That's what it seems like. That's what it seems like to me.
No, I think, yeah, Rusev...
Like a Kozlov, a Tensai.
Rusev has always been a flash-in-the-pan guy. And I think this is going to be the end of it.
Which is sad, though, because he's a much better athlete than most guys that have been in this role.
Yeah.
You're absolutely
He is,
right.
in fact, a super athlete.
Yeah. I think
Super athletic.
he's going to spend the next year losing big matches. He's going to have a goofy face turn. And then that'll be the last we ever see.
And don't get me wrong, I wish that we were not right.
Yeah.
I wish that we weren't right. I wish that we could not predict this shit so
I can
easily.
see him teaming up with Adam Rose for a while.
Yeah.
Having tea
He's
parties.
going to become a rosebud.
All right. So moving on, moving on from that, let's go to the other mid-card title, the Intercontinental Championship ladder match.
Oh, man.
Now, leading up to this, we had on SmackDown the Gauntlet match that you wanted to discuss.
Yes.
Word.
Up until this last week's SmackDown, I did not care about the Intercontinental title match at all. I was angry that this many people were being dumped into this, fighting over this cursed monkey's paw, you know? Because, okay, like the whole bit with, okay, I despise R-Truth. I hate everything about him. I think he's a terrible performer. I think his gimmick is basically a blackface routine.
I don't hate him, but they put him in a situation where he cannot possibly go.
Okay, what is R-Truth's gimmick? R-Truth's gimmick is that he's a crazy crackhead homeless man who steals things.
Where's the homeless part coming?
He looks like he's homeless and talks like he's...
He doesn't look homeless.
Yes, he does.
What?
He's all like raggy. He has like gross looking clothes. He has his eyes bugged out and he talks to invisible people.
He wears jeans and that's it.
That are,
I like
spray-painted
that he was a Confederate black man. That was
Yeah. Okay. Okay, but I mean, his whole bit is like he is what a racist old white man thinks black people are like. And how did this angle start? It started with
they just dance all the time, non-stop. You can't fucking stop them.
But I mean, this angle started with R-Truth stealing the Intercontinental title and being like, I don't know, I didn't steal nothing, I just found it. It's awful. And then, we're going to gravitate Dean Ambrose and Dolph Ziggler, and then fucking Daniel Bryan is being pulled into this mire. And I hated it until SmackDown. Which is so weird because I normally don't give a shit about SmackDown.
Nor
it's like the 1 week I don't watch SmackDown.
Right. So they do this gauntlet match between like all 6 of the contenders for the Intercontinental title. It starts off with like R-Truth and Stardust, I think, and who gives a shit. And then
it's kind of SmackDown, isn't it? Like
yeah.
I haven't seen it for the last 7 months, but I feel like I've missed nothing.
Yeah. And then it was like Stardust and no, Stardust and Ambrose, I want to say, and that was okay. Then it gets good when it's Ambrose and Harper. They fucking tear it up. Ambrose looks good for the first time in a while because he got lazy. Like that rebound clothesline he does looks like crap now.
I actually was going to say the same thing, and I thought I was going to shit on me for
No.
it. Like, it seems like he doesn't care as much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you do when you were the most white-hot babyface in the company and then just decide you're not important?
Well, he's kind of in a twilight right now.
Yeah.
Like,
but,
he
okay.
headlined the pay-per-view a few months ago.
So,
You're right, yeah.
Ambrose gets knocked the fuck out by his massive power bomb from Harper. And then it's Harper and Daniel Bryan. This fucking rules. This is such a good match. And really good psychology to it because like Harper goes for like the big boot, tweaks his knee. Bryan trips him up when he was going for the power bomb, gets him in like I forget the move, but it's like a knee-based submission and taps him out.
Oh,
and
nice.
Then the final match in it is Bryan and Ziggler, and they tear the house down. And it's a crazy match. Go watch it. You owe yourself to watch it.
Well, since they are giving it to you on the WrestleMania broadcast, I might as well give it to you as something.
And surprisingly, Ziggler goes over.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
He ducks the knee plus and hits a zigzag and gets a flash pin on him.
On Bryan?
On Bryan.
Jesus Christ.
And then, okay, but I mean, they make it out like it's a big deal, right? It's important that he got this big win. And Bryan gives him like the respect hug and all that. And then Barrett comes out and just bullhammers the both of them. He I'm afraid of, bam, hits him with the microphone, and then bullhammers both.
See, I love that because that's what they should be using SmackDown for. They should be using the fact that not tons of people watch it like as an advantage.
Yeah.
You know, like to put guys over like big competitors.
So
that they wouldn't do on Raw.
Like they've been saying for a while, like the rumor has been going around that they're going to keep the the heavyweight champion off of TV, whether it's Brock or Roman. He's going to be a special attraction, like a final boss fight. And then the Intercontinental title and U.S. titles are going to be brought more into focus. And if they're going to do that, this is the way you do it. You make a very active, very competitive division with elite guys who can believably beat each other.
I actually think that's an incredible idea, to be honest. So Intercontinental is Raw, and then US would be SmackDown.
I think
then those would be the respective titles.
Other way around. Cena's not working SmackDown.
You're right.
I don't know, but okay.
You get what I'm saying.
You get the Intercontinental title as your wrestling fans' wrestling title. This is the one where you know it's going to be a good match. Like in the early 2000s, when the Intercontinental title was being fought over by like Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit and Jericho and Rob Van Dam. That is your showcase title. And then you do whatever bullshit you want in the main event because you already hooked the smarks, and now you're going to have like a fucking...
Real quick, though, that's a funny argument because I've always associated the United States title with SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then the Intercontinental with Raw. They could switch it around.
They might. I don't know. I feel like
the U.S. title was such a big part of SmackDown, like back in the day with Cena.
I feel like they're like phasing John Cena out, kind of, because he hasn't been involved in the title scene since SummerSlam.
He hasn't beaten Flair's record yet, so there's no way he's being.
I think that this is probably like a 3 or 4 year twilight, and then they will capitalize on his popularity in the last 3 years or so until he finally retires.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's going to be off the show and then he's going to be jumped out.
Let's be honest, he's not going to retire for 10 fucking years.
No,
like
unless he gets like seriously hurt or something. Yeah, but I think they're getting to a point where they realize, okay, we can't rely on John Cena forever. Now we have to start making other guys matter. They want to do that,
which is great for them to realize the first time ever.
They want to do that with Roman Reigns, and it's not working.
Yeah.
So now they're like, okay, well, who else do we have? And the Intercontinental title division is the perfect place to be that experimental breeding ground, like it was always supposed to be.
Yeah.
Instead of being this fucking albatross around the neck of whoever's holding it.
Yeah.
Okay. So now Bryan Ziggler also had another match on Raw, which I believe Ziggler just won clean.
Yes.
Yeah.
He did. So what's the deal with that?
I don't. I think
these matches don't matter, and it's.
I think I know. Because Bryan will win at WrestleMania, so he needs to lose on the go-home show.
That's honestly, that's how I would book it on the show that not a lot of people watch. I mean, like, put their other guy over.
Yeah, okay. Pattern recognition.
That's true.
Okay, and it also helps Dolph Ziggler recover a lot of the heat that he lost. And Daniel Bryan, I think, is at a point where he's basically bulletproof.
Do you feel like he's going to recover to the fans because these are the guys that the internet fans love and they really want to do well. So they're going to give one of them a big win, but it has to be over one of the other guys you like, not over one of our special like Ortons or.
I'm actually going to say that what this does is Bryan wins at WrestleMania. The night after on Raw, he retains. In Barrett's rematch. Mm-hmm. And then because Ziggler has 2 consecutive clean wins over Bryan, he becomes the #1 contender for Extreme Rules.
There's one thing that I would say throws a wrench into that, and that's Sheamus. Because they've been talking for a while that Sheamus is going to come back.
So okay, I'm gonna admit I didn't watch them past like a week or so. Like, has he been announced or anything? Or
he was announced like back at the Rumble, and then he never showed.
I think he's rumored for the Battle Royal.
I have heard that the other possibility is that Bryan is going to be about to win the title, and then Sheamus will show up and like screw him over, and then they'll have Bryan and Sheamus at Extreme Rules. And then,
they're going to keep
Ziggler will win the
They're going to keep hyping Sheamus' debut for a few more weeks, and then he'll just debut dancing with Funkadactyl.
Or he's going to win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal on the pre-show.
He could.
As a surprise entrant, but a surprise entrant is returning Sheamus on the pre-show. That seems like
A surprise entrant
But
won last
do you
year.
really think that that's something that they wouldn't do?
I will say either one of those scenarios would be a shameful thing.
Lobster.
Lobster head!
Why was that not one of my favorites? There are too many lines.
Oh.
Do you have any lines here on Brad?
I have
No.
too many lines.
Well, while he goes to find some lines, what have we got next? Otherwise, we will
well,
actually be
how
here
about-
to WrestleMania.
We have Triple H and Sting.
It's not the match we wanted,
No,
obviously.
but I think it's going to be. I don't know, like considering the shape Undertaker was in last year, I think it's probably going to be a better match than if they did Undertaker and Sting.
It's going to be good. It's just going to be quite slow. It's going to be very long, and
There's going to be a lot of like Sting rolling around on the mat while Triple H goes, "Stay down."
Now,
I'm going to kill WCW once and for all. Raise up the sledgehammer, and then Sting just like kicking the nuts.
He's going to like sweep his legs and put on the Scorpion Deathlock. And Michael Cole is going to call it a sharpshooter. I guarantee you he's going to call the Scorpion Deathlock a sharpshooter.
okay, so during Sting's promo on Monday Night Raw, because he got the illustrious position of being the opening promo on Raw.
And he actually got to speak for once.
Yeah.
Now, he said that he was like the last remaining soldier of WCW or something like that. And I just thought, oh, poor Charles Robinson.
No, okay, well, he actually said, like, he came out and he said, this isn't about WCW.
I know.
It was like, if this was about WCW, I would have shown up 15 years ago. And then Stephanie comes out and goes, yes, it is about WCW. It's like, fucking Stephanie, quit overwriting the story you're trying to tell.
And Charles Robinson, he wasn't really a soldier, was he?
He's had a match, hasn't he?
I would say
Probably.
maybe he just worked on the base.
He's Little Nate.
Hold on, what's the match? I'm sure he had a match in WCW, but what was it?
I don't
know.
know.
I never watched WCW.
Probably like Nick Patrick, like the evil NWO referee.
Oh, yeah. Like, whatever happened to Nick Patrick? Wasn't he
I
the
don't know.
SmackDown referee forever?
Well, when you're a referee and you're crooked as a snake, then you're not going to last long, are you?
All right, so yeah, are there any? Do we have any other thoughts for this match?
I think it's going to be a good match. I really don't know who's going to win. Probably Sting because holy shit, it's Sting.
Oh, okay. I thought we were still talking about the.
So I don't know who's going to win. I don't really care.
Honestly, I feel like the way that they built it up with Sting being the sole survivor of WCW and the thing that he said, like he was like, "Listen, I'm not fighting for WCW. I'm fighting for me," and blah blah blah. I feel like it's built more towards like if he doesn't win, there's gonna be a hole. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like he almost has to win.
And it's not like Sting's going to be around for the next 5 fucking years or something. I mean,
4 months.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
like this could potentially be his last match
Okay,
ever. So if he's going to do it,
Who failed to kill WCW last time because he was out injured during the entire invasion? Triple H. If he fails to put that one final nail in WCW by taking out Sting, he's going to have to go to the one man who was equally a loyal WWF soldier as
this
he
guy
was.
knows.
The Undertaker, next WrestleMania, when he's had more time to heal up. He has maybe a bit of a tame match with Wyatt this year, and he's not made any appearances, so he's been back home resting up. And then next year, Taker versus Sting.
WWE almost has to do that, right?
You
They almost have
yeah,
to.
like
because
you have Sting, you have Undertaker. How do you not have Sting and Undertaker?
Exactly. And
Unless
I
they're
think-
setting it up.
Yeah, I think everybody like this year was like, "How are you not doing this?" But it's not like Sting. It's not like Sting and Triple H is like a bad match. It's not at all.
No,
by
honestly,
any
in terms
stretch
of,
of the
like-
imagination, especially the way they're building it up, like Triple H being like the warrior of the Attitude Era.
No,
like,
okay, there's a lot of revisionist history going on.
yeah, yeah.
But they did it to the point where it actually makes the story better. So I'm not too upset about it.
No, I hear
Especially because they edited out all the parts where WCW was fucking horrible.
Right, so that would be a good direction for this to go. Now, we touched on this already, so let's go ahead and talk about Undertaker and Wyatt.
This is really hard to call.
Now, this is one of 2 matches we are going to discuss, both of them with that can be covered by one overarching talking point, which is one person carrying a feud verbally. In this case, Wyatt doing the promo work for the entire feud.
I don't see any I mean, I don't know like how you guys think about this. I don't see any circumstance in which Wyatt goes over.
Which is sad because he really needs a big win.
Yeah, he needed the win last year
yeah.
against Cena too, and he didn't get it.
Okay, he needed to beat Cena. He needs to win against Undertaker more than anything, and he's not going to.
He's definitely not going to. They're definitely going to give Undertaker his win back to get his mystique level.
Yeah, you can't have Taker lose 2 years in a row. And I think this is a shame because they wanted Bray Wyatt to be the new Undertaker, and they're making him the new Kane.
Would you say
it's says spooky stuff, but it doesn't matter?
Would you say it's a shameful thing, Lobster Head?
I would say it's a shameful thing.
He's been doing a decent job with the promos, but you do kind of zone him out a little bit because you're not supposed to understand everything he's saying. So after a while, if he's not interacting with someone, if he's just going to have a 10 or 15-minute monologue on his own, you do tune it out of it.
I think the main thing that you don't listen to Wyatt anymore, and why a lot of people don't listen to Wyatt anymore, is because what he says, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because they made him out to be a loser.
Yeah, exactly.
He lost to John Cena 3 months in a row. When Jericho showed up, he lost to Jericho. He can't win without stupid like special effects, like when Dean Ambrose like had a TV explode in his face.
Yeah, we say Paul Heyman's really great with the promos, but if he was bigging up Brock Lesnar all the time, hyping him up, and then Lesnar just went out and got whooped every week, I'm sure we'd soon get tired of Paul Heyman saying that he was going to destroy everybody.
It is weird. It seems like they do that with every single heel in the history of the last 10 years, except for Triple H.
Yeah, any heel that is not Triple H is an
ineffective
coward.
Chicken shit heel. Yeah, is a chicken shit.
2 years ago at WrestleMania, both Heyman guys lost. Punk and Lesnar. Yes.
Anyway, how do we think the match is going to be like quality wise?
Good.
That's the question.
Is this going to be? I think maybe it's going to be Wyatt. Wyatt can do a really great physical match. Like when he had that match with Daniel Bryan at like the last year's Rumble, where it was just a fucking war. That was awesome.
This is what I don't want to see. Undertaker, I know you're not listening, but if somebody passes on the message to you, do not do that fucking outside dive that you always do because you can't do it anymore. You're gonna die.
Oh, the suicide. You mean the suicide dive?
Yeah.
He always catches his feet on the ropes now, and I feel like he's gonna die every time he does it.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh, that would be horrendous.
Bray Wyatt needs someone that he can get in there and just collide with on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about the matches he had with Kane, they were terrible.
Yeah.
And I think these are going to be even worse because
there were matches between them.
The Undertaker's in far worse shape than Kane was.
Okay, to be fair, I have seen pictures of Taker actually like getting ready for this match. He looks way better than he looked last year. I think he realized that he disappointed a lot of people last year and that he's spent a lot of time this year getting in shape for it.
I mean, I don't know if he disappointed people last year. It was just a weird thing because like when you build up something for so long.
I don't mean that he lost.
Yeah.
I mean that he just looked like a tired old man last year.
I think it's like a thing when you build up for something for so long. I mean, like during Undertaker matches, I think it was like a customary thing for people to kind of tune out a little bit because you just knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, and then like when they reached that 3 count, what?
And it wasn't even like
it was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like, oh, great. It was like a...
Yeah.
It was like you had to reprogram your brain
that
for a
one,
second.
like, shock dude in the crowd.
Yeah.
And it's a cool thing that they shocked us all like that, but I mean, like...
after that happened, like, we all watched together, and you said, like, 3 times in a row, they fucked up.
Yeah. Like, I at the time, I knew that they messed the match up. Like, there was, like, Taker was supposed to kick out, and he just didn't kick out or something. But no, he actually was just straight up supposed to lose.
By the way, as far as I can gather, this was the plan. The plan was for Brock Lesnar to go over The Undertaker and then to build Brock Lesnar as some unstoppable fucking crazy force over the course of the year. And then him losing to somebody at WrestleMania to put them over to be like, oh, the guy that beat The Undertaker got beat at WrestleMania.
The one who beat the one in 21-1.
Exactly. But it doesn't seem like that's going to happen anymore.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Is that the last thing we're going to talk about?
The last match is Lesnar and Reigns. Another match where we have one guy talking for everyone. In this case, Heyman talking to Lesnar and Reigns
Yeah.
mostly.
When it came out that he'd signed this new contract, Lesnar, one way of looking at it would be, okay, that suddenly throws it up in the air. But announcing that now, if you really wanted to surprise everyone, wouldn't you just have Lesnar win and then announce after WrestleMania that he signed the contract? It seems like announcing it now
I
makes
feel
people
like-
think, well, maybe, I don't know how it's going to end. I've got to tune in now.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
And now I have to pay $9.99.
And then
Yeah,
if-
well,
and then if Reigns
because-
does win,
Because ever since the Royal Rumble, they've kind of gone, like, there's been so much coverage in the media about how everyone hates Roman Reigns. So you kind of have to say, hey guys, it's not a foregone conclusion.
Oh, and by the way, if any of you ever had any doubts of Paul Heyman going to the Hall of Fame, he's carrying the entire main event of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
the entire product.
Honestly, like, honest to God, Paul Heyman is the best character in wrestling.
Ever. Probably ever.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, if you look at his
I know that's a
long-term-
bold statement, but I really think it's probably
If you look at the
ever.
long-term evolution of his character, Paul Heyman is kind of fascinating to look at. He's never really been the evil authority figure.
Yeah.
He's always been the subversive. He's
So-
always been the guy who takes the things that you think are the most holy and the most sacrosanct in wrestling and trashes them.
So earlier this week, Heyman posted a picture on Twitter that a fan handed him at an airport.
Yeah.
Earlier in the week, and it was Heyman like grinning with his like giant cell phone, posing with Mark Calloway.
Oh, that's awesome. Back when he was Paulie Dangerously. But that's what I mean. Like, in the Dangerous Alliance, his whole thing was he was putting together this group of badasses who weren't the typical WCW like type.
Yeah.
He was subverting your expectations. ECW was about nothing but subverting the tropes of wrestling. He was absolutely going to like taking what you expected to see from a WCW show or a WWF show, turning them on their heads. You know, he was always going up against the system.
One of my favorite moments in ECW history was the Cactus Jack thing right before he went to WCW, when he just played into the whole thing and he refused to do the hardcore and he just locked people in headlocks on chairs and stuff.
It's
and just
incredible.
sat there.
That's what I mean. Then when Heyman joined the Invasion, okay, the Invasion sucked. But afterwards, he realized, I don't need an army. I can just go get Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
So he brings in this
I'm
guy,
sorry, do the voice.
Brock Lesnar. So he takes Brock and he molds him into this thing that is nothing but the destruction of wrestling. With his first run, he comes in, he kills Hulk Hogan. He kills Ric Flair. He kills The Rock. And this is like his first year in the company. Then, okay, he goes away for a while. He gets CM Punk, another guy who was an upstart, who was a subversive. And he has him run roughshod over WWE for over a year until The Rock takes him out. And then he goes and gets Brock again. And he destroys the sacred objects of wrestling. He destroys The Undertaker's streak. He destroys John Cena. And now you have Roman Reigns, who's being built up as this holy, protected, sacred object in the main event. And where's Heyman? He's pointing Brock Lesnar directly at him and saying, get him. It's fucking amazing.
And of course, like Paul Heyman detractors would bring up, like Heidenreich and Curtis Axel and stuff like that. But I mean, like, here's the deal. If you put him with a guy that connects with the crowd in some way, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
It's over. I mean, like,
Heyman and Axel should have worked, but the fact that Axel was just slapped on his face within a minute of his debut under the new name, and then he wasn't really given anything to do, and he was overshadowed by other guys being shoved on Heyman.
Uh-huh.
in WWE, I'm sorry, like a win over Triple H because he has a headache is not a legitimate win.
That would build my credibility, but not a professional wrestler.
But, I mean, like, Brock Lesnar is not much of a character. He's a big guy who kills people.
Yes.
Roman Reigns is nothing.
I don't know, though, man. Like, I will say, though, he has some sort of innate charisma, kind of like Jeff Hardy had.
Yeah. Okay.
Where it isn't...
Curtis Axel?
No, Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Like, where he always isn't the greatest on the mic, and he always isn't the greatest like connecting verbally, but he just has something.
Right.
Like
you get what I mean.
something,
You get what I mean. Like, he's not really the story.
Yeah.
The story is Paul Heyman taking things that are sacred to Vince McMahon and the WWE universe and destroying them with Brock Lesnar.
But you know what I'm
Brock
saying.
Lesnar is the Infinity Gauntlet,
Yeah.
is what he is.
But you know what I'm saying. Like, what
He is perhaps a lethal.
what I'm saying with Brock though is that like he doesn't necessarily like have like the chops to be like a in the spot like microphone guy, but there is something it's something that I don't even know if I can describe at this point. Like after watching for so many years, you need to watch that guy.
Yeah.
You need to watch
wrestling, his mannerisms and everything. That bit
Which
where he
is
just sat
fun.
up in the match and just stuck his tongue out and he started laughing after it.
And
When he
even
did
him
the
being a
Undertaker,
UFC
yeah.
star and him coming back and everything, I was skeptical. But then, like when he gets in the ring again, you're like, I get it.
I
I
think
get it.
they've never said it, but I think part of Brock Lesnar's character and the reason why he's invincible is because he knows that wrestling is fake.
That's his
I
gimmick,
think that's
really.
part of what Paul Heyman got into his head and why he can subvert things like Heyman can. Because he knows that John Cena's finisher doesn't actually hurt.
So
He
Brock
knows that The Undertaker is just a tired old man.
Yeah.
So
And so he
Brock
can just ragdoll you.
So Brock Lesnar's superpower is the fourth wall.
Basically, yeah. He's got the cheat codes.
Lesnar,
Like
since he came back,
Batista.
he's never obeyed the standard conventions of wrestling
Mhm.
since he came back from the UFC.
Yeah, he is Paul Heyman's subversiveness personified in a giant, horrifying Minnesotan murderer.
Well then, on that note, let's go ahead and discuss the end of Monday Night Raw. Specifically, what did you think? This is our talking point of the week, by the way.
Talking point of the week.
What did you think of the Lesnar Reigns face-to-face segment that ended Monday Night Raw? Was it an appropriate ending for the Rumble for WrestleMania? Was it good that Lesnar and Reigns did not engage in any physical violence
That we know
before
of.
their match? Or was the tug of war over the belt too silly?
So those are a lot of questions.
Those
First
are
of
a lot of
all, I'll
questions.
answer one of them. Yes, it was good that they did not engage in physical contact.
Okay.
Because I've always loved those where you get 2 months of build up, nobody touches anybody, like really.
Well, plus, okay, as cynical as we have been, and will pretty much always be, there is kind of a mystique to, like, how is Roman Reigns really going to fare against Brock Lesnar? Like, I mean, especially because we have such a hard time believing that Roman is as tough as they want him to be. If they had them slug it out, and Roman is throwing big fake-looking punches at him, and Brock Lesnar is selling it, it loses its value. It makes us go like, I'm really gonna buy this asshole beating up Brock Lesnar.
I agree.
The fact that they're keeping it away, even if the match ends up sucking, is a
One
good
way or
thing.
another, at the start of that match, after about 2 seconds, when Brock Lesnar goes for that huge double leg takedown on Roman Reigns, whether it succeeds or not, that's going to be a really big moment for the match.
Yeah,
To set the tone.
Since the debut of the Shield, since Roman Reigns debuted, Brock Lesnar has had more singles pay-per-view matches than Roman Reigns.
That is
And-
really depressing.
And if you have less pay-per-view singles matches than Brock Lesnar, that is really saying something.
Well, I mean, part of it is that like they haven't had like tons of contact, and it's one of those things that I mean I've always loved since forever. I mean, if you look at like back in like the 70s, Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris had a like an epic fucking crazy fight in a movie, and it was like, I mean, the start of the fight was literally them like going like looking at each other and then stretching. And then doing that while looking at each other the whole time, and then finally fighting, and it was so fucking crazy epic when it happened.
Isn't that the one where like Bruce Lee like pulls on Chuck Norris's chest hair and then, like, kicks him to death?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't kick him, he like headlocks him.
And it was awesome because it had never happened before, and they played it up like it should have been. Like, oh, this is a huge fight. They're having a street fight and they're fucking stretching beforehand. Like,
Yeah.
this is crazy. And I just think it has that.
Stretching is important.
I
Way of
just
the
think
Dragon,
it has
that's the
that.
name of the movie.
Yes, and I just think it has that element to it of of, okay, this guy's dominant, what the fuck's going to happen when they get together. I do think it could have been played up a little bit better, but I mean, like, at this point, I mean, I'm not going to nitpick a couple days before the event. Like, just do it. I mean, you know.
The great build-up when they don't touch each other. In some instances, it's a necessity. If you look at matches like Hulk Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior, because that would have just been awful. It would have exposed that they're not very good wrestlers.
They had
before the match.
They had to plan that match out like to the letter.
If you want to minimize the physical contact, if you've got two guys in there that can really put on a great match, then having them do a bit beforehand might actually just get you more excited. You can see, oh my god, I'm going to see this, but on a grand scale.
Do we have any comments from our lovely viewers?
We do. The TLP universe wrote in to give some responses for this talking point. I'm just a fan, right? Saying to say that he thought it was dull, considering that Heyman says that Brock loves beating up people who try to take his title, and then Reigns tries to take the title, and then they just do a tug of war over it.
Yeah, I thought it was going to maybe Brock would wind up to maybe attack Reigns, and then they'd be flooded with officials. They just couldn't get to each other.
In fact, Mr. XL sometimes co-host with us, writing to say that he thinks it's not going to go down well with the non-casual fans. He gives a symbolism of it. I understand why they didn't want to do a big brawl, but it looks so silly, like two kids fighting over a toy. They could have had a bit of a Chevy match, then flood the ring with refs, security, agents, maybe even other wrestlers holding them back.
Look, imagine how much worse it would have been if they still had the spinner belt.
Mr. Lockjaw writes in to say that it looks silly. It would have been much better to just go off on a stare down. Trying to steal the belt does not mean anything. You haven't earned it. And I want to actually point out that stealing the belt is the entire basis for the Intercontinental title scene right now.
I know.
And in history, it holds up, honestly.
And it's also like the most entertaining build on the card.
Also, I'm pretty sure if Brock Lesnar legitimately tried to snatch the title away from Roman Reigns, Roman's shoulders would just pop and his arms would come off.
Yeah. Like, he would just pull Reigns' arms off and beat him to death with them.
Now, Mr. Innovator, who we love and appreciate, says that it showed me that Roman has graduated from nursery rhymes to the possessive phase of growing up. He thinks that everything is his, and sharing during this phase is challenging. Usually the child will grow out of it within a few months. Watching a child grow up is amazing.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It really is.
What's the next stage?
I don't know.
Getting the shit beaten out of you by Brock Lesnar, I imagine.
Oh, dear. That's probably not good for early childhood development.
And I'm not saying I'm calling that Brock is going to win the match, although he might. But I'm saying that Roman is going to get hurt.
Yes.
Because Roman has spent this whole time working with guys who know how to protect him. Brock is not going to protect him. Brock is going to beat the living shit out of him, win or lose.
Mm-hmm. I think if win or lose, what Roman Reigns needs to do is not to be a face anymore. So especially if he's going to win, it needs to be Paul Heyman thinking, okay, I've cashed in everything I can on Brock Lesnar. I'm putting my money on Roman Reigns as the new guy to go to the next level, and he gets behind him.
Yes, Mr. Smelling Meatball writes in to say that that the Go Home segment was pretty bad considering the lead up from that amazing Heyman promo that got even Lesnar surprised from it. If the idea was to make neither guy look weak before Mania, it did a bad job because they looked more like kids fighting over a toy. A small back and forth brawl getting quickly broken up, or Heyman trying to defuse a heated situation to prevent giving away a free brawl would have been a way better ending.
How about if Brock Lesnar just put the title down on the ground and then they just got nose to nose over it? It looks like they're about to get physical. Then all the officials move in, get them out of the way, and then Paul Heyman comes in and picks up the title.
Or do like the old WCW like promo video thing where they would stare at each other and then lasers would shoot out of each other's eyes and then there would be explosions.
What?
Yeah, you never saw those? They were amazing.
No.
Like, go and watch like Vader's White Castle of Fear. It's incredible.
Anything Vader is the greatest.
Okay, so how about if we just move on to our final talking point of the week? And that is, who has risen the most since last year's WrestleMania, and who has fallen the most?
Well, probably Roman Reigns.
I mean,
so last year's WrestleMania, Roman Reigns was in the Shield versus Kane and Outlaws match.
Yeah. Last year he was fighting Billy Gunn. This year he wins the Royal Rumble, defeats the most popular wrestler in the world, and now is main eventing WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar.
Uh,
How are you going to top that?
I think the reason most wrestling fans are sour about the Roman Reigns thing is it was just so forced.
Yeah,
they could see the Cena thing happening all over again, and it's just not something that anyone wants to be a part of. You know, like if we were organically a part of his fan base, it would be one thing. But I think the Superstar of the Year thing really put a sour taste in everybody's mouth.
That was total bullshit. And I think a big part of it was him being injured and them just deciding, well, we're going to put him on every show anyway, and we're going to act like he's been around kicking people's asses.
And I think that was the first time where we could see where the Superstar of the Year thing, I mean, like, I don't see how that wasn't rigged.
No,
I don't see how it wasn't rigged.
It absolutely
It's
was.
unquestionable that Roman Reigns has risen the most. But I actually think...
I'm going to say Roman Reigns has risen the highest. But there is someone who I'm going to throw as a contender for someone who's risen more, but just not to as high a level.
Oh.
And that is from NXT guy to facing Cena at WrestleMania.
With a championship belt.
Championship.
As the defending champion.
Yeah, you could.
After having a win over Cena at the previous pay-per-view.
But if it's like everyone predicted, this whole thing has just been engineered for him to be fed to Cena.
Yeah.
But even then, he's going in being at a much higher position than he was.
Yeah, we gotta think of we gotta think in terms of who's
legacy,
going. Yeah. Well, who's going in?
I'll tell you
to WrestleMania rather than how WrestleMania is going to turn
had
out.
a huge boost is Brock Lesnar.
So
I think pre-last Mania, we thought, okay, here's Lesnar coming in just to lose to The Undertaker.
And then, holy shit, he beat The Undertaker.
He beat The Undertaker, he annihilated John Cena, he's just crushed everybody, and now he's taking the title into the main event.
I think we need to establish for this question whether we're discussing as the starting point, the right before or right after Mania.
Well, let's go right before and right before.
You mean right after?
No, right before last Mania where they were and where they are right now.
Okay.
Just before WrestleMania again.
Okay.
So if you look at, for someone who's dropped, if you look at Cesaro.
I'm going to say that disqualifies Cesaro from being fallen the most. Because if it was from the end of Mania to the start of Mania.
He was still getting majorly over before the Battle Royal at that point, though, and now he's been bumped to the pre-show. If he was
as a defending champion.
But if he was coming in and it was on the main show as a tag team champion, then that would be higher than going into a Battle Royal.
I would honestly say the guy who's fallen the most is Randy Orton. He goes,
he goes from defending WWE champion to facing Mr. Money in the Bank.
Yeah. For a match with nothing on the line.
And what about Big Show, even, as far as someone who's fallen? He was expected to win the Andre the Giant Royal Battle Royal, and now what is he? He's just a
he's in the Battle Royal again.
He's just an authority.
What did Miz do last year?
I see exactly. I was gonna put this question like, let's have some fun with this. Let's do the last 5 years who's risen and fallen the most, and who's fallen the most is by far the Miz.
Absolutely.
Right?
Well, he goes in the past few years, sure. But
he went
the past 5 years.
Yeah. Like he goes from fighting and defeating John Cena in the main event of WrestleMania to nothing.
And it's crazy because, like, listen, guys, I'm going to admit it. I have a weakness. I have a thing that I don't like to admit. But I've watched MTV The Challenge a ton, and that was the show that The Miz was on for years and years and years. And so I watched old episodes of that, and seeing him like grow into what he became at that pinnacle at WrestleMania was fucking insane, insane. And nobody's had a bigger drop than him, and I can't even say that it was warranted. Really,
I'm gonna say Miz's highest point was about 2 weeks before his WrestleMania match. Because it was basically like Cena and Rock were feuding.
Yeah, because at WrestleMania he was kind of an afterthought, even though he won.
Miz just comes in and destroys Cena with a "Did you forget about me?" thing. And to just beats
and when he started impersonating The Rock.
Okay, how about this is the biggest drop? The Undertaker. Still with the streak intact, arguably the biggest thing, the biggest entity in the history of WrestleMania. And he doesn't have that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, he goes from beating champions, beating Triple H, beating Shawn Michaels, beating CM Punk, being basically the guy who sent CM Punk off. I mean, I know he was around for the rest of the year after that, but not in really any major capacity.
If he had the Sting match this year, that would be close to getting back to the same level on the card.
Yeah.
Let's have some fun. CM Punk's still in the company right now. Who does he face
This
at
podcast is
WrestleMania?
never ending.
CM Punk,
In order for CM Punk,
I would say Seth Rollins.
Yeah, CM Punk takes Randy Orton's spot to face Seth Rollins.
Oh my God, you're so
Oh,
right.
sploosh.
And it would be incredible too.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Okay.
don't need any more of that. Wait till after the show's gone off the air.
Okay. We want to discuss any divas in this.
So
since we're just going from the start of last year's WrestleMania, Paige has gone from NXT Women's Champion to like 2-time Divas Champion and facing the champion in a tag.
she won the next night on Raw,
the
right?
next night. So
Yeah.
that win is not considered in her starting point.
Okay.
But does anyone think the tag match is going to have any lasting
No.
consequences or be good at all? I don't.
I think it'll be pretty good. I think it'll be okay.
I don't think it'll be bad at all. I
have no faith in Divas tag matches at all.
I mean, the Bellas have been around long enough to where they can put together a solid match. I mean,
I
I'm
think
not going to
the
shit
real-
on them anymore.
It's
They can
so
do it.
weird. I would say, like, the biggest thing is going to be AJ. And that's so weird to say because AJ was kind of the reason why Divas Wrestling got so much better. And now she's the one who's not reliable.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I really want a Divas match that I can truly get behind, just like be invested.
Yeah.
And it hasn't happened in probably like 5 years. And no, that's not true. I mean, when I was naming like notable female wrestlers before, I didn't mention Beth Phoenix, but I should have.
Yeah.
And like she's another one that they lost.
Pre-fart gimmick Natalia.
Pre-fart gimmick.
Okay. What was Fandango and Ryback doing last year?
Oh, God. Who cares? Honestly, who cares?
What is Ryback doing this time? Is he
Both
in the
of them
Battle
are
Royal?
in the Battle Royal. So currently announced in the Battle Royal is Miz and Mizdow, Curtis Axel, Ryback, Fandango, Adam Rose, Ryder, Swagger, Prime Players, Big Show and Kane, Rowan, Sin Cara, Goldust, Slater, Henry, and the Ascension.
Was it last year when Ryback?
Is it a 20-man or is it?
Probably another 30-man.
Okay, so you named about 18 people. So there's some room for maybe some surprises or some.
Yeah.
Did Ryback get crushed by Mark Henry last year, or was that the year before?
Oh, God. I don't
Where is
remember.
Mark Henry?
Well, in the Battle Royal.
Oh, he's in the Well, hold on.
You just said it.
Has he been like a?
He's been on SmackDown. a
So
couple of times.
Mark Henry was, I believe, destroyed by Roman Reigns like 2 weeks ago on SmackDown, and like, you're not ready for this type promo.
That's so weird because I don't.
And then Reigns just like annihilates him, and then this week on SmackDown, he and Reigns are part of the face team in the 8-man tag.
Yeah,
match.
let's say that. I don't respect you. Bam! I respect you.
Yeah.
I liked him better when he was just like, "That's what I do."
with the salmon-colored suit.
Right, oh God,
that was incredible.
when
though.
he faked his retirement just to get John Cena
So-
out to beat him up.
So I think that we probably need to wrap this thing up.
I hear
Yes,
you.
I am starving, and we have a drink a dollar.
And we're gonna get some
right.
sushi at some point.
So I'm
Yes.
already here in the social media lounge, so I'm just going to go right to our quick shout out to our friends over at the Game Booth Video Game Podcast, your stop for left and center gaming news and views. Now, we will, of course, have tons to talk about after WrestleMania, and we will post our talking point of the week early next week, so watch for that. And in the meanwhile, we invite you to give us your thoughts, to suggest talking points of your own, and tell us what you thought of the week in wrestling by posting in the tables, ladders, and podcast threads in the tbww.net forums, by tweeting at us at Tables Ladders, or by replying to our posts on Facebook. We also ask that you follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and share our posts, rate us, and subscribe on iTunes, and shop on Amazon.com using our affiliate link. All of these things can be found on our Podbean page, tablesladderspodcast.podbean.com.
Now,
So, go ahead.
no, this is going to close the show, so you might as well go ahead.
Okay, so
This is quite a time for it to end. Wait,
Yeah, we're still going.
Oh,
Okay,
Still
okay,
going.
okay.
All right, we had a
Take
brief.
it off from this. There's too much emotion flowing around
We had
here. And it overloaded the circuit.
Yes.
Owen Brown overloaded the server.
Our love for Owen Brown.
So, shall we?
Speaking of our love for Owen
Do we
Brown,
have to?
I suppose so.
a small token of our appreciation, Owen, because we know you've listened to this whole thing. You've probably been watching intently, perhaps while eating a salad. So, here we go.
Oh God! All right, let's do it.
I'm drunk.
Mr.
I don't
Point,
even know if I
if
remember.
you would like to
Let's
give
do
us
it.
a beat.
Actually, Nart, can you start off the beats?
I don't remember it.
I'm sorry.
Fine. Owen Brown. Owen Brown. He's a town. Owen Brown. That was really stupid.
And with that, we shall say TLP, everybody.
TLP, Owen Brown.
TLP, everybody, especially Owen Brown.
Enjoy WrestleMania.
Keep it downtown.
Enjoy as much as you can.